And we're live, and that means something. We're going to talk about that today. A lot of people say we're live, but they're just having meetings with three people. So we're going live on LinkedIn, Substack, and YouTube. And we play that song because it takes about 45 seconds for the sites to pick us up. In fact, I'm not entirely convinced it's live on Substack yet. I'll check that in a minute. We're definitely live on LinkedIn, which is great. And YouTube works every time. I don't even need to check that. But I'm not convinced we're live on Substack yet. It's a bit clumsy, but it'll come. But, mate, Americo's my good mate from Toronto. Jump in and tell us what you're doing. We had a conversation before about what does it mean to go live? And we're going to have a whole series of school events about this. But some people say they're going live, but really they're just having a Google Meet with three friends, aren't they?
Yeah, that is this week's kickoff. I've had questions come across the wire over in my community, and I'm jumping in other communities and engaging and participating in their events. And I hear people often say, "Hey, we're live, and thanks for joining us." Like, well, you're not really live. You're in a live meeting, and there's a difference between a live meeting and a live stream. And I felt that it was important. I put together a module over in the school community for our members to engage and participate in and walk through. I went live to explain it, and I absolutely loved. This is part of my new framework. Every time I'm asked a question, I will go live, hit the airwaves, answer the question, and then turn it into content. It then becomes an asset that members who couldn't attend can listen. It demonstrates the power of repurposing and redistributing. I then take that and build a module. And then to add and layer onto that, I created a blog over on Substack today saying, hey, here's what I did. It was a little bit of a teaser. I'm not going to tell you everything. If you want to hear the full story, come visit us over on Your Stage Live Studio.
Yeah, I love what you're doing here because next, my style now is that from 1 month I do a series live on using Restream. We send the file to LinkedIn, YouTube, and Substack. Not entirely sure it's working on Substack at the moment, which is a bit of annoying because I've got a good following there, but it's we'll have to get them over here somehow. But the alternate month for this time, it's September, I'm actually going to do a whole heap of really good research projects, which are not going to be live. One of which is our show, which is going to be on school. And you've got a very cool variation on this. School as a site, schoolwithak.com. Tell us what we're doing there and how people can get involved and how you're multi-dimensionalizing that.
So next week we're having and hosting the special edition of the Social Audio Soundcheck. And this is an exclusive members only event. Members of Your Stage Live Studio are able to join us on stage and be part of the conversation. So as you do in great fashion, you educate us on audio, and our community members will have the opportunity to bring questions, be part of the conversation, and immerse themselves in what we're talking. But what we're doing now to push the envelope, to raise or continue to raise awareness around the school platform and what we're building here in my school community, I'm going to be streaming exclusively to YouTube so that anyone who wants to share this with non-members, other non-members who are curious about what's happening and what we're talking about on school, they'll be able to listen in on YouTube. But if you missed it live, that recording, those assets then go into the archives and only members will be able to listen to it.
And tell us what you think of School. School is a cool site that's just a good adjunct to Substack and these others. It's a community-based site, isn't it?
It is a community-based site. I had someone ask me over the weekend, reply to one of my email blasts, what is School? I've never heard of it. I'm kind of reluctant on clicking this link until you tell me a little more about it. And we're hearing that quite frequently. And that's because the platform is still in its infancy stage, still early adoption. It is competing with the circles, the Kajabis, and high level and other community based platforms. But it is just picking up steam and allowing creators, business owners, people with an entrepreneurial mindset to create an ecosystem of their own where they can house resource materials, they can convene with their community members, and it is just an offering, a value proposition that is so well priced that it is anyone considering community and community building for $10 or $9 a month US. You just can't find a deal that good. And the reason I joined in is because it's not that big of an expense that I need to worry about, but it's enough of an incentive for me to keep going, keep building, because it's now costing me a little something. There's a little skin in the game where if I had to consider, Kajabi, which I believe is like $150 a month, or even the pro plan here on school, which is $99 a month, you start to second guess yourself. Am I really ready to spend or invest $99? I haven't got the community sorted out. This is great for building the infrastructure, building the workflow. You do it at the relatively low price point. And once you start generating monthly reoccurring revenue, you'll know when it makes sense to switch over to pro because there's benefits. And one of the key benefits is the percentage in which the platform claws back. It drops from 10% of your revenue of your sales to 2.9% of your sales. So once you reach that $1,000 a month threshold, it's cheaper and more cost effective to switch over.
Yeah, it's actually a very good idea because it's only $9 a month to build a community. And if you're thinking of taking the whole process up a notch, $9 a month is not very much, but you get a whole raft of different benefits. It's quite different to Substack. Substack doesn't have, for instance, a group call feature. And that's why we're doing that. Like next week, the school event, which actually was going to be on Restream, can have 10 people. School can have unlimited people. Substack can have 3 people. Like, I mean, almost every week we get 3 or more people. Like, so that particular feature of Substack is completely useless to me. Just completely useless. Yeah.
Yeah, there are some useless features on every platform. Let's not kid ourselves, right?
Yeah.
But for what you're paying, even the analytics, if you're a data person driven by data and you get inspired and set your goals with the data, I'm starting to see fascinating results where my efforts are starting to pay dividends. And when I look at my community and the traffic that I'm driving, I can now pinpoint where my traffic is coming from, specifically on YouTube, LinkedIn. You and I and many other creators. Let's not just say that this is something that we do, but AEO and SEO and all these marketing acronyms that everyone is chasing to gain visibility, to gain discoverability. I can now see, hey, through the repurposing, I'll go live across 3 platforms where I know I'm building membership, subscribers, and followers. And my community members often hear me talk about this framework around live streaming and having the heavy lifting begin after the event is over. So I lean heavily on the repurposing and redistributing, and I'm now starting to see, the traffic coming in from Substack, starting to see the traffic coming in from Google, the Google searches, the links that I'm embedding, and it is just fascinating. And it's important when you're trying to build a community, someone who might be a skeptic. It's like, well, sure, you talk a good game, you sound really good, but
Show
show
me
me
the
the money,
numbers. Show me
right?
the
Show me the
numbers.
numbers.
Yeah,
And it's
it's
important.
really interesting you say that because let's pick up on this. And hello, Nasis. Hello, Nikki. I've sent you some details on LinkedIn. You're in Houston, Texas. I'd love you to come on the show. We can have up to 10 people on the show. And this is why I love the live show. This is what you mean by being live, Americo, isn't it?
Yes,
Someone
this
who's
is
not inside the room can come in. This is what live actually means, right? So Nikki is in Houston, Texas, listening in real time. She's there on YouTube having a listen. And hello, everyone. But I've sent you a link on LinkedIn and you can come in. Yesterday or last week, we had 8 people, someone calling in actually from Nigeria. I don't know if you're on that call, America.
yes.
Blessing came in from Nigeria. So this is what we mean by calling in live and why it's like imperative. And a lot of my friends are getting very, 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 very good at AI. And I'm thinking, I don't even know if that's you anymore. I know you, and I can't recognize you in this material. It looks great. Like, it just looks so good, but it's not you. Like, I don't. Have you found this with people you actually know, that there's a real major chasm between who they actually are, and you know them, to who they are pretending to be. Have you noticed this?
I've noticed it, and many people are noticing it because I had a one-on-one meeting with a LinkedIn connection who jumped on the call, wanted to hear a little bit more about what I'm doing, and I came on. It was an on-camera meeting, and the minute they joined the calls, they paused, and their response was, "Oh my goodness, you actually look like the image on your profile." It's like that's so hard to come across now. It's like everyone's catfishing one another with these AI generated photos. Now, don't kid yourself. I use AI generated images. Some come out better than others. Some I don't even make it to public domain because they look nothing like me. Or, uh, but you got to know how far you can push it.
Yeah. It's an interesting debate because we talk about this a lot. It's 2026. I've been doing this since 2006. I wish I had this material then, but I doubt whether I could keep up without AI. I'm seriously asking that question now. I don't really want to be completely AI, but I don't know if I could cope with the sheer amount of work that this sort of lifestyle demands. I love doing this show, but it's a lot of work, as you know. It's a lot of work. Most people don't know how hard it is. But we're doing this show live, and things go wrong. And I'm talking to someone on LinkedIn, someone on Substack. I'm trying to get my YouTube to work. I still haven't worked out why Substack's not working, and I've got to do all that live while I'm trying to hold a conversation. It's impossible to comprehend how difficult it is. And then when you said you do a blog post, imagine how long it must have taken you in the olden days to do a blog post from scratch. And that's okay. It's good to be earthy, but I just don't have time.
Well, and some people, and I say some people because I was including myself in that group. People compete, and I was one of them. Compete with themselves and coming up with content. You go live, you have a conversation, then you feel compelled to come up with a different narrative when you start writing things down. And people don't realize how much that hinders their authority online. When you're talking about multiple things and people will consume your content. It's like, why is it that today Americo's talking about, X, and tomorrow he's talking about Y, and then you jump over to Substack and he's talking about something completely different. And I was hindering my own visibility, my own social authority, and the social proof was mixed because the messages were mixed. Now I found the lane that I want to stick to, and everything is centered around a live conversation. Always.
I love how you focus there, and you've even got further. And let's pick up on this if you're still doing this. You've worked out that there's three major. This is such a good lesson for someone thinking of doing this. Not only have you decided to niche on live streaming, you've decided to niche in three areas of live streaming: well-being, health, and wealth. Is that right? Is it
Yeah.
well-being,
So,
relationships, and wealth? Yeah.
yes, health, wealth, and relationships.
Yeah.
So, that for anyone curious as to why those three, it was part of the research that I was doing, and in terms of niching, because live streaming, you can go, a multitude of directions. And if someone approached me who was outside of those three verticals, I'm not going to turn my back if I'm able to help and support. But I really want to focus on helping, whether it's business owners, authors, coaches in these verticals, because research has shown, and the numbers, the quantifiable data supports, that this is where consumers of content and consumers of information are spending their time. This is what they're looking for support in. And why not give what the general public want? Every time we make a purchasing decision, 99 times out of 100, where do we start our buyer's journey? We go online and we'll look up products, we'll look up brands, we'll research all the information before we make an informed decision. And I want to help professionals and experts in those three verticals. I want to give them the opportunity to allow their voice and their presence to differentiate themselves from all the resources that are available.
Yeah,
And
I think it's extremely important because, like 10 minutes before this show, this happens like 10 minutes before every show for me. There's a strong possibility that I might do this show for myself, and that I can't see the point of doing this show if no one's listening to it. Right? And I've done shows where there's been 0 listeners, and it's me and a guest, and we're just having a chat, and I'm thinking, why am I doing this? So if you've worked out that there's 3 very key niches, which are quite interesting unto themselves, and you can get traction by doing that, then why wouldn't you do it? Of course you would. I mean, you'd do that. You'd get traction that way, wouldn't you?
yeah, absolutely. And there's I'm opening myself to conversations in places that I could tell you wholeheartedly, I'm not an expert in those three verticals. But if I have the capability to help someone build a stage where their voice demonstrates their authority and their expertise, then that collaboration will give me the same fulfillment. This isn't about ego. This is about me wanting to help experts get in front of consumers who are just salivating for relevant information. And what better way to do it than through a live stream where people can participate and immerse themselves by asking questions and getting those questions answered in real time, rather than reading a white paper article that may have been written 6 months ago, may have been written 5 years ago. And if you want to take those research papers, which still have value, let's not say that they don't, but now you want to validate if what was written a year ago is still relevant or if it's
Let's
still
pick
true.
up on this. Let's pick up on this. I sometimes refer back to the written word, but I remember, because I used to teach at the unis here and then the TAFE colleges, that by the time the course is written and you're ready to deliver it, it's actually out of date in the field that we work in. Imagine if you were doing a course now and you wrote it in, say, June last year. It'd just be so out of date, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But let's not throw that away, because what I've been doing this summer is going back to the archives and looking at the content that I wrote a year ago. Some of it is relevant, but isn't as polished. Like I've progressed
Yes.
in my journey.
Yeah.
So I want to give myself an opportunity to make sure that what people are reading from a year ago still speaks to them in my brand voice, which has changed and has transformed through experience, through just lived experience. And I want to make sure that it's relevant and it still speaks in my brand voice. So when you go live, yes, there's an abundance of an opportunity. It's evergreen, the content that comes out of a live conversation. But once you've repurposed and redistributed, don't put it into the cellar and not go back to it. If what you're talking about is pertinent to society and still has relevance, revive it. A year from now, when you're struggling, you got a little bit of brain fog, or perhaps you want to take a break from generating new content, revive some of your old stuff and bring it back to life. That's where repurposing really comes in handy.
I love this idea. I just love the idea that something you did a year ago, which is still relevant now, can have a sort of 26 vibe on it. I'm gonna bring in a piece of content you created to demonstrate this. So, for those that are not repurposing, how do you do it, and what's the best place? How do you start? Because it's a bit daunting to do it, isn't it?
Well, it used to be more daunting than it is today, right? So first and foremost, you want to be present where your community is either hanging out or where you want to grow visibility and authority. So actually, I'm going to pause here. The image that I just shared with you, we're referring to AI generated images. These are thumbnails from my school classroom and all the modules that I've started to build. Now, these images, I would say out of these 5 images, 4 out of the 5 resemble me much better. The one I'm using today is probably the furthest from what I look like. It's a little cartoonish, but you can still tell and make out that it's me. Unlike some of those catfish photos where it looks nothing like the person.
Oh man, there used to be a joke that if you don't look like you are your photo when I meet you in person, you owe me a beer. In fact, you have to shout me dinner. Because sometimes they're not even the same. I'm thinking, that's not you. Hang on, that's a bit of false advertising there. False advertising. This is a photo of me taken in a cafe in real life. But from that, you've been able to create several images from that, which do look like this. Not always, but it's very good. It's a very good discussion. If you're listening in, I'd love to hear your take on what AI can do for you. It's got to be practical. It's got to be realistic, but it's such a great time saver.
It is such a great time saver. Absolutely.
And this is what you talk about. Let's run through this. This is actually what you talk about in your school community. So this is a good example for people who want to come to your school event next week, what you talk about in your community and what the community's about. Let's have a chat. Pick one, and we'll just riff on it.
All right, let's go with the first one, the live stream Q&A. So anyone coming in at the standard tier, you automatically get access to the community, but you also get access to community sponsored events like the one we're going to do next week. And you get access to engage in questioning. So for a really good price point, right now I have a $5 annual subscription. Like you're not going to get the value anywhere else for $5 for a year's worth of access to this content and the ability to ask questions. So when questions come in through the community thread, I will take those questions and will demonstrate through a live stream. I will build a conversation so that members can participate live or can consume it afterwards. But I want to demonstrate and differentiate myself by allowing community members to learn by doing or watching me do it. Because anybody can, and this is feedback I used to get even when I was in my corporate role. Learning has changed. Like everyone is given a module here. Listen to this video, read through this module, and that's it. You're trained. Well, that's not training. There's no hands-on. Like there's zero utility. I can't implement what I'm reading or what I'm watching. But when I'm demonstrating it in real time, hey, here I am. You asked the question, what's the difference between live streaming and live meetings? I went on the airwaves and I answered the question and I broke it down. And here are some examples. Here's what you're going to get that you wouldn't get in a live meeting. And I went through it, went on for about 25 minutes. And then because people and members hear me talk so much about repurposing, hey, we're going to write this down. So for those of you who don't want to sit through the 25 minutes, hey, I've written this out for you. You can read it.
Yeah, it reminds me the way my brother and I communicate in a very different way. My brother and several people like my brother, who's a very cool person. His approach is, well, I've told you the data, Keith. The data's right there. If you can't understand what I've written on the page, well, that's your fault. You must be stupid because it's right there. But it's right. I've written it down. If you don't understand it, that's not my fault. I've done my job. I've done my part. I've written it down. I've given you the material. It's up to you to learn it. It's up to you to digest it. It's up to you to manifest that in the way that makes sense to you. Well, that might be true, but you've written it in a very complicated way. Makes complete sense to you, but I have no idea what you're talking about. Can you debrief this? Can you talk to me in English, please? No, it's right there, Keith. It's all there. It's all written down there. I've done my job. I've done my job. It's your turn to take it and do with it what you want. And I had a bit of a chat with Jessica and also Anne-Marie about there. Jessica is doing a doctorate and Anne-Marie is a professor of English. And she says that teaching is not about delivering information. Teaching is about the idea of helping people who are at various stages of the learning journey. We learn differently. I'm not a very good reader. I might be partially dyslexic. Words don't make sense to me on the page. I need to talk it out, which is why I do these shows. I'm going to bring in Max. He's in Chile. Are you still in Chile, mate, or where are you located today? You want to jump into the call there, Max? I'd love to hear what you're thinking. We got you there. I'm going to play a little sound. Well, I'll give him a call. I've got an international dialing card, so let me just give him a bit of a quick call.
Oh, and
what are you doing? How are you?
Well, you just segue. So we're going to veer off school just for a minute here. We're going to veer off of live streaming just for a moment. This weekend, I became the proud owner of a Rodecaster Pro.
Oh, you bought it! You bought it! Oh man!
I bought it. I put in a reasonable offer. I did my research, and I know it's an older generation. It's not the Pro 2, but given the condition it was in, given the market value for a used item, I picked it up for $300 Canadian.
Yeah, we did a lot of research on that. We worked out if you got it for anything less than $400, it was a good bargain.
Yeah.
And it was just a matter of negotiating what you thought you could afford or wanted to pay. This is actually a really good segue. I'll talk a lot about this. I know a lot about this. This is the original Rodecaster, the original and arguably the best. This was just the absolute go-to machine for years and years and years and years and years. And you've got one, right?
And I've got one, yes. And I'll tell you what intrigued me the most. There's two things. I knew that at some point I was going to upgrade so that my Zoom P4 could be the portable device I take with me on the road. And I don't have to worry about plugging and unplugging, so I can have a studio set up at home, and I can have a studio set up, a mobile studio that I can take with me on the road. But then I look at this device and I see this mobile phone, and I started to do some research. And with the Rode software and with Bluetooth, we can, and I'm going to test this before it goes live, we can take calls on WhatsApp from people around the world. And I know people have different opinions of WhatsApp, but imagine having a radio style Q&A format where people can dial my number and don't have to go through the studio link, don't have to go through Restream to get on stage. They can just call in and I can let them in through my mobile device.
Oh, this is extraordinary. This is a really good segue, because when we do the show next week on school, in order to participate, you have to be a member of your community on school, which means, one, you have to have a school account. Still, a lot of people haven't even heard of it. Second of all, you will not only have to have a school account, you have to be part of your community, which is free, but you still have to do it. Now we've got the king of roadcasters. Like, Jason has a roadcaster too. He loves it. He loves it. Now, Jason, this is a pretty exciting piece of news, and you heard it first on KKFM. Americo just bought the original roadcaster, $300. He picked it up from someone in Toronto. Did you pick it up, or did they deliver it, or did they have it delivered?
I picked it up last night, so it's still sitting in the box. When I took it out of the box, it doesn't even look like it was used. There's no fingerprints, no grease marks. There's nothing. It's like, wow, what happened? I gotta ask. I gotta understand the story behind this piece of equipment. Were you overwhelmed? Did you bite off more than you could chew? It's like, well, yes, we bit off more than we could chew, but we learned that because we bit off more than we could chew, that the Rodecaster wasn't big enough and powerful enough for what we were doing. It's like, oh, okay. So they had to upgrade to something bigger.
Oh, what did they get?
I didn't ask because I was interrupting them during their dinner hour. So,
yeah. Did you start here, Jason, or did you go straight to the Pro 2?
I have the original Rodecaster, and that's what I still have to this day. And it does everything I need to do. And I think it's the Rodecaster 2. It's the bigger one. I don't have the newest one.
No, you don't have the new. Yeah, you don't have the Pro Code. Okay.
No, I think I've got the original one, or maybe it's called the Rodecaster 2.
Well, you'll know the new one looks like this. It's funkier. It's sort of a bit more shiny. But
no, I don't have. Yeah,
they're $1,000. I mean, they're $1,000. Yeah,
I think it was close to that when I got it, but that was like during the pandemic, so that was 6 years ago. So that I'm sure that one that I have has come way down in price, and $300 is a great deal.
$300 was definitely a great deal. They ranged depending on condition, used $250 to about $400. She was asking $550. She had dropped it down to $450. I went in with the modest, hey, listen, I don't want to lowball you. I know what it is, and I know what I can possibly come at you and have you say no and ruin this transaction. So I'm thinking, given that the range is $250 to $400, let's meet somewhere in the middle. I'm prepared to give you $300 if you're prepared to hand it over to me for that price. It's like, when can you pick it up?
This is actually an extremely good example, Americo. This is extremely good. I can't wait to try this, because Max, who's in Chile, can't get his mic to work. Like, imagine if you had that up in your pocket. Like, you just had this as a backup. Okay, you can't use the tech that we're using. What about trying this number? Now, what an amazing idea. what an amazing idea to have in your pocket to say, look, Restream is thumping it and we love it, but sometimes it plays up. Why don't you call me? Why don't you just try calling me on this 1-800 number or whatever they do? Yep, there it is. And we got a call. Right? Now, Restream doesn't have that feature yet. Do you ever do this, Jason? Do you ever actually get people calling in? Have you ever tried that?
On the live show we do every Saturday, I keep it pretty controlled, just because I do have people we trust, kind of like how you sent the link to the people you know who are going to come up to the stage and not be dingbats, right? But people that call in, no, not. I'm a little fearful of them being trolls.
You and I both used to hang out on Twitter Spaces, and that happened all the time, didn't it?
It was super frustrating. I got to the point, and I still am, that like if anybody wants to speak, because I still do audio shows on Twitter, but I can use the Roadcaster to link everything together. I only let people come up to the stage that I know, or if they follow us. And if it's some random new person, I just don't know who they are. I said, you've got to follow us and I've got to see your feed, and we have to interact a few times before I let you come up, because I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and this is the main reason I stopped doing Twitter Spaces. Did you ever do Twitter Spaces, Americo? Did you, before the LinkedIn Lives? Did you ever do the Twitter version?
I never got into the short and snappy world of Twitter or X.
Yeah. Did you ever?
I had an account. I gave it a try, and it just
didn't resonate.
It didn't resonate.
Yeah. Did you ever try Clubhouse?
I tried Clubhouse, and worse. I wouldn't say all-time worst experience, but when you compare Clubhouse, where everyone's on their mobile device, opposed to some of us being on our mobile devices and some of us being in quieter places and understanding, it's a completely different experience. Half of the events that I jump on or get invited to on Clubhouse, they get a minute tops, because if it just sounds atrocious, I can no longer sit through that. And most Clubhouse calls don't sound that great.
Yeah, even though the technology, I've said this many times now, that because technology is so easy for people, most content is rubbish. It's rubbish because people, they don't come from a history of making content. They suddenly think, hang on, I've got a phone and I can call into this show. And the tractor's going and there's dogs barking and someone's fixing the concrete at the front, and they go, well, I can't hear that.
And that's exactly it. So it's not to say that those who are participating don't have the right tech. They probably all have the latest mobile devices with great sound quality, but with that great sound quality comes all that white noise that they're oblivious to, that I can no longer sit through. Thanks to you, my friend.
Wow. I know. And Max, this is amazing. Max is actually in Austin. Restream is based in Austin. I know the program manager or the marketing manager. We need to get this sorted, because Max is in Austin, the home of Restream, and he can't get his tech to work in the town where the tech was invented. Now that's hilarious. Now it's hilarious. But imagine being in Melbourne and using a Melbourne-based product and not being able to use it. Like, it's just ridiculous. So there's got to be something going on there, Max, as to why you can't get your mic working. I'd be given that we're doing a sound check, I'd be pretty eager to know why. Have you ever had this problem, Jason, where people can't unmute themselves? Is there some tech some little sort of hack that we can try? Jason's having trouble unmuting himself.
Do you know? Have you tried?
Apologies. I'm on my phone cooking supper, and the mute button is finicky in Restream on mobile. So probably, yeah, if people are on their mobile device, maybe it's not the best thing to do. And that's usually where I have all the troubles is people's whatever OS they have or their Android or their iPhone OS is just not driving with whatever the software is. Kind of like mine is, because if I have it in portrait mode, it doesn't like to unmute even though I press the button.
Actually, let's assume, I'm going to run with this. Let's assume that's the problem. That because people are on their phones, and unless this is the case, please tell me, Max, if this is not the case. But let's assume that people that have trouble are on their phones and will work from there. That when you're on your phone, it's like I never use my phone. It's just too bloody small. In fact, when I first met Jason, 2021, I think it was, I had a Samsung S7. I've still got marks on the wall where I haven't fixed the paint because I threw the phone at the wall. I threw it at I think this is ridiculous. I can't see a thing. I'm trying to do this show on a phone the size of my hand. Can't see a thing. I threw it at the wall. Went for a walk. Came back and said, "Oh, geez, I made a big dent. Better fix it up before wifey gets home. She's going to wonder what happened. She's going to wonder what happened. This is supposed to be my hobby. I'm supposed to be doing this for fun." I remember that day very, very clearly. Threw the phone at the wall. It was a Samsung S7. We upgraded to S21s. That's why I know it was 2021, because we upgraded to S21s very soon after. And it was slightly bigger, slightly faster machine. And I was able to do it. But it was hard going, wasn't it, Jason, doing those shows on your phone, wasn't it? And yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree. It's the screen is too small. You're just like mashing your primate hands into some touch screen that doesn't have the same tactility as a mouse. Yeah, just like me. I'm like pressing the unmute button and it's not working, so I've got to switch my phone to landscape. There we go.
Yeah, I wonder. I'm really fascinated by this because here I am in Melbourne, Australia, arguably the furthest you can possibly get from Austin, Texas. I'd be very interested to know if there's anywhere further from there than here. Right at the other end of the world. It'd take me like 14 hours in a plane to get there. And there is Max in Austin. He could probably walk to the office, right? He could probably walk there. And he can't get in. Hilarious. Don't you think maybe this is just this juxtaposition of real life compared to tech? It's hilarious. I'm going to make a point of this. Like I know Anya, that she's the marketing manager. We're good friends. I've talked to her. I like Restream, but this is ridiculous. Someone in the same town as the company's software can't get in on their devices. This is why people don't do lives, because there's so many problems. But it also means that it's the exact opposite of AI. This is real. We are having a real problem. I'm solving it live. That proves my worth, I guess. Do you find that that's the challenge too, that being in the moment really gets you in the zone? Like you're really, really pushing it because you have to.
Yeah, that's part of the dopamine and the adrenaline as well, because you can go live and not have anyone present, and the minute someone joins that live, whether they're just listening or whether they join you on stage, the adrenaline, the excitement, it just becomes a completely different atmosphere, and I love that. Others might say it's like, well, you know what, I don't mind speaking to myself. It's like creating video content. I'm just talking into a mic instead of talking into my phone and recording content. But the minute someone shows up, I freeze up. I don't know what to say. And we want to help people who are on both sides of that spectrum, because they're two different behaviors and two different outcomes from two completely different points of view.
I wonder what people prefer. I would like to know. And if you're listening in, I'd love to know what you think. Do you like to read curated content, which is, thoughtful, considered, in on demand? I do. Or do you like to be in the moment and say, hey, that's real? I can hear him speaking. He speaks funny. And isn't that hilarious that Max can't get in and he lives in that town? That's an hilarious story. We could read that story, but it wouldn't make any sense. If someone read the story of a guy living in the town of the tech company that can't get into the tech because he lives in that town, that's just not going to make sense on a page, is it? But when you hear it and you hear that and you can see it, Max is right there. He must be like less than a kilometer from the office. Come on. What's going on? Just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's we've seen things like this happen many times, and we're using Restream as the example, but it happens in other circumstances where how often do I test before going live, make sure my tech is up to date. I now got into the habit of making sure that Microsoft doesn't have any patches or software updates before I go live. I shut down and reboot my computer so that everything is cleared, the cache, the drivers. I have this whole sequence, this launching sequence that I go through. But you still get caught by surprise that after all the testing, you hit go live and something else just freezes you. And that not knowing and how to respond when that happens after all the preparation, that gets people all wound up as well. It's like, well, what do I do? It's like, hey, this just demonstrates that you're human, you're going to be vulnerable, and people are judging you, not because you have bad tech, but they're going to judge based on how you respond and how real and how you share your vulnerability and build it into the narrative.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. And this is a very good example. This is an extremely good example. Last week, Jessica and I had a problem. It was 10 minutes before we could get back in. Jessica has turned that into a blog post. So interesting. What I'm going to do, I know Anya. She's the marketing manager for Restream. They are based in Austin, Texas. The guest that wants to come in is in Austin, Texas. I'm gonna make this a story, not to get them into trouble, but just because it's a good story to tell. It's a great story to tell. It gives me a chance to talk to Anya again, and it gives Max a chance to possibly meet another colleague there in his town, which he's currently living in. He's from Chile, but he's currently living in Austin, Texas. And I think you're right. It's a matter of turning these lemons into lemonade. Anya now gets the chance to hear this story. It's not a bad story. It's just a tech story. It's not a tragedy. No one gets embarrassed. No one gets hurt. But it gives Anya a chance to work out what's happening. Gives Max possibly a chance to meet someone new. Gives me a chance to talk to my friend Anya again. If indeed she'll be a friend after this. And then, but it demonstrates for the world that we know what we're doing, because we can navigate this tech in a world that's very unpredictable. And I agree that this is the challenge that I love. This is why the dopamine hits so hard. For 10 minutes before you called in, mate, I thought I was going to be talking to the rooster for an hour because no one was responding. All these people say they're going to come, they never do. I don't understand it. Oh, I'll get busy. Just want to watch a movie. All right, that's all right. I get it. Life happens. Jay is listening in. We might get Jay in to possibly solve this one. Jay's calling in from Alabama. I'll send you the link, mate. I use an external camera, and I always have conflicts in my internal laptop, and I have to fix that every time I go live. Because you do a show with Jay, he'd know a lot about this, wouldn't he?
Yeah, Jay and I host the storytelling journey. We've taken I took a break. He was ready to go but I took a break in the month of August, seeing how there's a lot of summer vacation and getting people to join, participate, and engage is difficult. And we'll get the show back on the road in September. Jay, if you missed it, I have this new piece of tech. Well, new to me, but we're going to test this over on Skool, and once we get it to a place where we like it, we're going to open up the phone lines on the storytelling journey and let people call in, opposed to having to stumble and come through the studio link. So stay tuned for that. We continue to grow and to come up with different ways for people to experience live streaming. So if you want to join us, Keith mentioned, jump on stage.
I've just sent him the link on LinkedIn. So this is actually what we do. Like, this is what I do. This is what I do. Like, this is the thing. Some people go and like Substack to write, and great. And Substack is a great place for writers. I go, and coincidentally, Substack is not working today. So we've had a bit of a double whammy. I'll just recoup what's happened here, Jay. First things first, Merico bought the Rodecaster, the original. We've had a bit of a riff on that, and we're going to come back to it because it's such a good story. Max, who lives in Austin, Texas, can't get into Restream, which is based in Austin, Texas. Right. So we thought, okay, well, if we had that live streaming feature where it could ring in, we could give him that number and he could call in. Great backup. And the third tech story today is that Substack is not working at all. Like, it's very difficult to set this up, and I always worry that it won't work. And I got a big show tomorrow about Substack. It'd be hilarious if that didn't work. But so we've got like 3 layers of tech problems, or tech challenges, tech adventures. They're not problems because, you know, I could be at the beach now. I could be just sitting having a latte, watching the dolphins, looking to see if the whales are in season. I'm exaggerating to make a point, but you know what I mean. I can walk to the beach in 10 minutes. I choose to do this. Now that's a crazy story, but I choose to do this because I love the adrenaline, the dopamine that comes from working out what happened. Why is this happening? I want to solve it, and I want Anya to know that we solved it. But we're live, so. What I'll do is while we're doing that, I'll give everyone a chance to find out more about this Skool event. Jay, does Jay use Skool? Is he part of the community? I haven't seen him there.
Jay is part of the community, but I respect the fact that Jay has his hands full right now. He is managing a full-time job. He's got a family that he attends to, grandchildren that he looks after. So he's and he's got a business and a book that he's promoting. So he is a member, and I'm grateful that he is a member, and completely understand why he may not be as present. But it's all good, my friend.
Yeah, I love this story because Substack, for what we know and what we love about it, it has, I'm not going to say some holes, but it doesn't have everything. So, for instance, and I'll take a bit of stock here on what's happened so far. Restream is an extraordinarily good service. It's an extraordinarily good service overall, and you can have up to 10 people on the stage, and we regularly do. And it looks like this when we do it. It's an extraordinary site. But what I'm noticing now is that people are they're going up a notch and they're becoming paid subscribers. And I'm thinking, well, you deserve more than what you get for free. Because why, it's lovely that they're supporting me and helping me to pay the phone bill and put petrol in my car, but they should get more because they're subscribing. They're paying to subscribe. It's in the top tier. So I've been doing a lot of research on how we can take them up a notch. And with Skool, You can have unlimited 10,000, which is virtually unlimited. You can have 10,000 people on stage at one time. So if we grew to the multiple that we want to at $5 a month, you could live on that. 10,000 people paying you $5 a month. You could move to Portugal. You could go and get a holiday house in Cuba or something. So, this is where it's taken us. We're now in the sort of the creator economy, where we move from the free state to a state where, look, pays a couple of bucks a month just to keep the lights on, and then you grow it. And some people have got 200 or 300 people doing that. It's very exciting, isn't it?
It is very exciting, and I'm going to take a step back because I should have, without taking a breath. And if Jay is still listening, we got to get Jay in on the school and have him share with our community members the power of storytelling, because he is the master. He's got a book and he's got this online tool that helps its members with their storytelling, with the narrative. And I'm probably doing a disservice by butchering it and breaking it up in the sequence in which we're talking about it. But if you're listening, Jay, here's that open invitation. Let's introduce you to the rest of the school community. Let's do a collaboration, because there's some wonderful people here who want help and support. They want to go live, and some of them are lacking the confidence, and some of them lack the belief that they can tell a good story that will bring people to the conversation. And I know you'd be a great person to lead that master class.
But it's all about time, isn't it? It's all about the ability to maximize your time. One of the downsides of live streaming is that you've got to be live. Now, I know that sounds terrible because it's in the title, but people say, "Matt, the kids are running around. It's late here. I'm cooking dinner. I can't join now. I'm doing something." So the live thing is very real. It's very real, but it's also very time consuming. The great thing about writing an article is you can say, "Oh, look, I'll just get a start, then I'll make the dinner, I'll cook, and then I'll do the dishes, and when wifey goes to bed, I'll finish it off, and then I'll publish it in the morning, and then I'll promote it the next day, and 3 days later it's up." Right? You can segment your time. But with live, this is it. This is all we have. I'm here right now. I'm talking. And if I'm not talking, someone else has got to do the talking. Right? So live streaming can be incredibly challenging, but also very rewarding. So what I'm doing now, Max, is I'm in the process while we're talking. I'm actually writing to Anya and saying, here we had a really interesting challenge today. Someone in Austin can't get into Restream. And here I am in Melbourne, Australia, running the show from 14,000 miles away. I love this. I mean, I'm going to turn this into a story. This is a blog post. This is a story to tell. It goes in the toolbox, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. There's no conversation that does not become content. Oh, I got to ask a question because I keep hearing a beep. Is that coming from your end or my end? Or do you even hear this beep?
I can't hear it, so it must be your end.
I bet you it's my mouse in need of a battery. All right. Carry on. I'm sorry.
No. I'll tell you what we'll do. I can hear that beep now. So what I'll do, I'll play a song, and we'll just regroup. We'll see if we can get Max working again. We can go for hours and hours on this. So let me just see if I can pick a song. Actually, I've been meaning to tell you this. This is pretty exciting. Australia is, we call them, they call us down under because everything's opposite. So we're in the middle of our finals of our game, the Australian rules, which is impossible to explain. Please don't ask me. So we're in the middle of the finals in Australia. The grand final is in about 3 weeks. But amazingly, the first game of the NFL, you may not know this, America. This is pretty exciting. The first game of the NFL is being played in Melbourne in 2 weeks between San Francisco 49ers and the LA Rams. and I can't go because it's a long way away. But I'm going to watch it on TV. I've already sequestered that room and that time, and I've booked the lounge room for Friday morning. So I thought that would be very, very cool to compare for sport with live streaming because the adrenaline is similar. So I'll play this song, gives us a bit of chance to talk about some of the tech, and it gives us a chance to settle, have a stretch, maybe make a cup of tea, and see if we can sort out some of these game day problems. Have a listen to this.
When I go live, it's game day lights. Feel the crowd rise as the numbers climb. I'm locked in tight. I play my role. Let the scoreboard shine. Let the story unfold. It's not perfect, but it's a natural high. So I gear up, stand tall, hit live tonight. I've been putting in the reps, late nights on the edit, scripting every beat so the moment feels magnetic. But when I hit go live, that's when practice ends. It's the rush of the crowd, it's the pressure again. Views start ticking like the clock on the wall. Comments like the crowd noise rising in the hall. Shares move fast like a breakaway play. Every stat on the screen is the score of the day. And the algorithm's watching like a rep on the line, making quiet little calls that can change my climb. But I stay locked in, yeah, I stay on my grind, cause consistency wins every time. When I go live, it's game day lights. Feel the crowd rise as the numbers climb. I'm locked in tight, I play my role. Let the scoreboard shine, let the story unfold. It's not perfect, but it's a natural high. So I gear up, stand tall, hit live tonight. Got my team in the back, brain content analytics, different roles on the field, but the mission's still the quickest one. Viral hits just a highlight reel, but the season's won by the ones who stay real. Trends shift fast like the weather on the pitch. Competitors move platforms, flip the switch, but I study every loss, every quiet post. Come back stronger, ready to coast, cause the game keeps changing, but I don't break. I adjust, reset, learn from every mistake. This is discipline, rhythm, strategy, grit, and I'm built for the long run. I don't quit. When I go live, it's game day lights. Feel the crowd rise as the numbers climb. I'm locked in tight, I play my role. Let the scoreboard shine, let the story unfold. It's not perfect, but it's a natural high. So I gear up, stand tall, hit live tonight. This isn't luck, this is craft in motion. Every post to play, every stream devotion. I'm not chasing hype, I'm building a season. Every rep, every round, every moment has a reason. When I go live, it's game day lights. Feel the crowd rise as the numbers climb. I'm locked in tight, I play my role. Let the scoreboard shine, let the story unfold. It's not perfect, but it's a natural high. So I gear up, stand tall, hit live tonight. When I go live, it's game day lights. Feel the crowd rise as the numbers climb. I'm locked in tight, I play my role. Let the scoreboard shine, let the story unfold. It's not perfect, but it's a natural high. So I gear up, stand tall, hit live tonight.
Bop, 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 bop. Okay, let's this is funny. Because Max can't speak, he can't defend himself. He actually is in Chile today. Can you imagine him? I just went down this whole road, this whole road of talking about Max being in Austin. This is a very good example of how hard it is to do lives. I'm reading his LinkedIn messages and I saw the word Austin. And I thought, oh, it must be in Austin. I know someone in Austin. In fact, Restream is from Austin. And then he said, mate, I'm not in Austin. I'm in Chile. I've been to Austin, but I'm not in Austin now. I'm in Chile. And I go, oh, shit. I mean, you got to laugh. He's in San Marcos, south of Chile. Right? So this is extreme. Look, I need a producer probably. I need a producer to read the messages so that they can feed me the goss because I really need three heads. Do you feel like that when you do live streaming, America? How do you manage it, or do you always have a co-host? Oh, what are you doing there? What are you doing there? America's gone dead on me.
No, Mariko's gone mute on you. So I do have Jay who co-hosts with me, and the other shows I do myself. It's always wonderful to have a producer and someone on the back end when people reach out. For instance, the event that I'm doing September 1st, I will be on the back end and running the chat and running the show for my client. But not everyone can afford that, or because they're at different stages of their journey. And the only advice that I can give you is, transparency goes a long way. Tell people where you are in your particular space. Hey, I'm sitting in the studio here. We are streaming across, and I hear you do this quite often. We are streaming across Substack, LinkedIn, as well as YouTube. And but because Substack, for instance, you you can't pair Substack into Restream, so you got to keep your eye on the chat on a different feed. And YouTube and LinkedIn may bring up the live chat, but you still got to bring it and move it into your screen sequence so that other people can see it. If you're using a third party platform like Restream and you're doing this alone, I would just turn on the chat feature and just let it scroll. So as comments are coming in, it, just have it run through your stream automatically. Just and it's one less thing you have to worry about. Some people don't do it because they don't like the aesthetics. It looks awkward, looks clunky, and it looks distracting. Yeah, there you go. So you really have to set your scene up so that it's visually appealing and easy to read. And it's not always the ideal conditions for that automatic chat. So you got to be mindful of that as well, right?
Yeah. Now,
But it,
because Max couldn't tell me, I was reading between the lines as I'm trying to talk, and I got it wrong. Max is in Chile, not in Austin. My friend Anya is going to be pretty angry at me now. I'm pretty sure she's not going to be my friend anymore because I just keep bugging her with all these bullshit questions. But someone's got to go first and try this stuff. Like, someone's got to go first. And I love the adrenaline rush, but it does get you in a bit of hot water. So what I'd really love to know, and I'd be interested to know from the people listening, is let's play the live streaming versus podcasting game. You can record; it's perfect. It's there's no errors. You can edit the ums and ahs. Have you tried that format, or do you not resonate with that model anymore?
so I shared with you earlier in the discussion how I'm reviving old content. Part of that revival is cleaning and stripping audio from the video, removing those ums and ahs, and seeing if I can find a home for it, whether it's through cleaner audio engineered short videos, or if whether or not I want to open things up and find an RSS feed to upload the audio files to. Because I know it's just a matter of time where someone's going to ask me the question, well, what's the difference between podcasting and live streaming, and how can we do both? And the answer, of course, is absolutely. You can go live. You can then take those assets and just upload them as they are in their raw format. But if it doesn't sound good, you're probably not going to get that many uploads, and you're not going to get that much engagement, and people are going to have different opinions that they might tell their friends. So if you're going to strip the audio from these live streams, you want to make sure that they sound good. So you're going to at least want to invest in getting it audio engineered to strip the white noise and strip and remove the ums and ahs and have it sound aesthetically more pleasing than a live stream.
Yeah, let's actually have this discussion. This is a very good discussion to have. And I'm just going to say it. I totally disagree with using a live stream as a podcast. They are not the same. A podcast is pre-recorded, sounds great, edited, perfect. It's not live. A live stream is live, not perfect. They are very different. And I would never, ever, ever listen to a live stream and pretend it was a podcast. It might be a replay of it's a replay of a live stream. I get that. It's not a podcast. I would love to know what people think about that, because people think, oh, look, I can just do live streams and I can get everything done. I can do a live stream. I can do a podcast. I can turn it into a video. I can get bullshit.
Yeah, it's the two different end products. There's no doubting that. But for whatever reason, everyone's kind of gotten on this bandwagon and calling these events podcasts. I get asked all the time, "Can I get on your podcast?" Like, well, I don't host a podcast. I live stream. But I'm being asked so frequently that it's now part of one of my keywords, video podcast, because that's what people interpret them as. But you're right, they're completely different distribution, completely different formats. And you can, as we mentioned, you can surgically clean up the file and try to upload it and distribute it as a podcast, a traditional podcast. But then that also requires a little more work and ingenuity, because you may not be as inept to engage with the audience, because when that chat comes in, it's great to respond to the questions that are coming in through the live chat. But if you're listening to a podcast and you're listening to the conversation and they're answering and addressing questions that are coming through a chat feed that is no longer live, it doesn't fit. It feels and sounds clunky. But there are people who do it and they call it podcasts, and they're comfortable and they're perfectly fine with calling them podcasts. But I agree with you. A podcast is audio only. It's pre-recorded, and the two should never have taken up the same lane of traffic, but they do. That's the reality we live in right now.
Yeah, I think the idea of being everywhere for everyone is a fallacy. Like I've always said that. I'm not a generalist, I'm a specialist. I'm a social audio dude. I don't do YouTube. I don't do WhatsApp and Snapchat and TikTok and Instagram. I don't want to be everywhere for everyone, because then really I'm nowhere for no one. I'd love to hear what the audience thinks about this. You know, if you try to be everything for everyone, you're really servicing no one. You know, if you're an Indian restaurant, you're an Indian restaurant. You don't sell pizza. You haven't got Coke in the fridge. You might have Coke in the fridge because, you know, everyone says Coke. But you don't have, you know, gelato. You know, you're an Indian restaurant. You sell Indian food. When you want Indian food, you go to an Indian restaurant. When you want a pizza, you go to a pizza restaurant. I'd never buy a pizza from an Indian restaurant or Indian food from someone who sells pizza, even though they might do it. What do you think?
Would you ever buy sushi from a petrol station?
Okay, that's sort of what you're talking about, aren't you? Sushi.
But that's what they do in the Western world. I don't know what it's like in Australia, but if you go to fill up your car with petrol and you go in to pay, they now, some of these places have a hot table. You can buy chicken wings, you can buy pizza, you can buy sushi. Like, how is that hygienic, sanitary?
Yeah.
Like,
food is actually a very good analogy for marketing. Let's take that exact story. This is a very good story. You fill your car with petrol, but you're hungry, right? You haven't really got time to go to the Indian restaurant and order takeaway, But geez, guess what? They got some net tandoori chicken right there. It's just right there. You're paying over here. You're paying $50 to fill your car, and there's tandoori chicken right there. And you can get a can of Coke while you and probably a chocolate bar. Hey, that's convenient. I'm hungry now. Like this is some people. I don't live this way, but some people live like that. Well, I'm eating. I'm hungry now. I'll just get some tandoori chicken and maybe a Snickers bar and a can of Coke. I've got to fill the car with petrol anyway. I'm here. I don't believe in this lifestyle, but I'm not. Who am I to say? But I don't believe content is that. Let's get tandoori chicken, a Snickers bar, and a can of Coke while you're fiddling in your car. That's not the content I make, right? But it's ubiquitous. It serves a lot of people, and those places make buckets of money. But it's a different model, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas, and I'm very excited by this. What I am very interested about to talk about now is because Substack has failed, our engagement is right down. There's not many people listening. This actually really pisses me off. But shit happens. Right? Shit happens. We've lost Substack. But that's just not happening. Does that happen to you sometimes and it just doesn't stick?
It does. And I've learned, tech aside, where you can't really control tech, I've learned that because of my excitement, I've gone to retrieve the streaming key too early. So you got to retrieve the RTMP stream key within 60 minutes of going live. If it's 61 minutes and you get that stream key, it's only good for an hour.
Ah.
So if you're trying to be proactive and trying to be efficient and you get that streaming key in excess of an hour before going live, it will not work for you.
Ah, well, there it is. I do it the day before. Just play that out. That is actually totally impractical. Imagine going live and having to do everything in the last hour. That's just bullshit. Just bullshit. Like I take Mondays. This show is Tuesday for me, 10 a.m. And on Mondays, I put all of my links together and I do all my graphics and I get all the songs queued up and all the sounds and everything's ready to go. Imagine doing that an hour before. That's just bullshit. Like if that is the case, I might even just stop using Substack. I mean, it's just bullshit.
Yeah. So I can be completely wrong, but every time I have failed to stream on Substack, I would always zero in on the root cause being the streaming key being retrieved too far out from go live time.
Look, it's a great discussion because let's just play out what we're doing here. Substack, and I'm doing a whole show about this tomorrow. Substack has its own live streaming feature, which goes only to Substack, only to Substack, right? However many followers you have, get it. That's it. No, there's no multi-dimensionality. And you can only have 3 people on the call, and it's a pretty basic offering. I've tried it. I don't like it at all. What we're doing is we're using Restream to send the file to YouTube and to LinkedIn and Substack. But the process of sending it to Substack is extremely difficult to do. Like it takes me, I have to get in the zone. Like I have to make myself a cup of tea and I have to sit down and think clearly. It's not just push a button and go. And clearly this is exactly what's happening. I'm not sure I'd be in the frame of mind to do it an hour before. I'm not sure it'd work for me because there's so many things going on show day. Like it's 10 o'clock. I've been up 3 hours. I'm sort of awake, but I've got to have breakfast. I've got to have a shower. I've got to promote it. I've got to send the link to all the people. Surely there's got to be a way that you can do a lot of this stuff the day before.
All right. So I'm just looking this up while you were talking. And my train of thought, purely hypothetical, because I'm reading and it says there's no hard time limit on a stream key. There is a single use limit. So the stream key you got for today's show could only be used for today's show. But I would always, like the minute I started collecting and uploading stream keys within the hour, I haven't had a failure to launch ever. But the minute I do it earlier that day, there's a good chance that the stream key does not work for me.
Now we've got a couple of black spots here. Stefan, I'm guessing it's Stefan, is in Calgary. Let's see if Calgary can get in. You there, mate?
Yeah, I'm right here. Yeah, just give me a second. I was just didn't expect you guys already live, or I'm not really sure what's going on though, but it looks interesting.
Do you live stream? Tell us. Do you live stream or do you podcast or do you prefer to write down your thoughts or make videos? How do you promote yourself?
Oh, yeah, I do. Hey, do I still have time to get back? I'm just going to use a different a better
Yeah, look,
headphone. Yeah.
We go for hours and hours. Drop out, jump back in. The link will still work for the entirety of the show. You can add your thumbnail,
Okay.
and you've got a pretty funky graphic there. So we'll get it working. So Calgary's working.
Yeah.
Toronto's working.
Well. Actually, I'm just give me 1 second. I'll try to do with this device. I'll be right back, guys. Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks for having me, though.
Oh, no worries. Take your time.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
there it is, Calgary, a local relatively for you, mate. Good. I'm sending you the lead now. He could be a good link for your show. So we've got to work out why Chile won't work. Might be geography, might be the internet, might be something to do with the telecommunication network in South America. But Calgary's working. Now, this is possibly what we need to do today. We need to get a couple of people trying to call in. And then what we got to do, and I'm going to be part of this show for sure, is we got to do the live call-in thing with your Roadcaster. We got to do that. Like, I'm just so excited about that. We got to do the Roadcaster thing, haven't we?
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, let's see what happens. Stefan is in Calgary. He's on the call right now. He's in there. He's in the zone.
Still here, guys.
And if the tech doesn't work, you've lost the moment. Right? You've lost the moment. Imagine having this backup. I'm so excited. Imagine having this backup where you can say, look, okay, this is not ideal, but what about if I ring you? Or you ring me? Now, you can decide who you give that number to. You probably won't give it out on air. It's very difficult to manage people that just call in. It's extremely hard. I don't recommend it. But imagine if you could say, look, give me a call. I'll send you the number. And when you're in the zone, I will bring you in. You know, why not do that? I mean, do you think is that what the Roadcaster promises? It's a fantastic feature if it's available.
It's a fantastic feature. All we got to do is, I think it's through Bluetooth or through the app and Bluetooth. So I got to sort it out. I was busy today, and I got the device late last night. So probably be something I got to move things around and find a home for it, because it is a lot bigger than the Zoom P4. So I'm going to have to find a home for it on my desk here.
Well, you're in good company, because anyone who's been doing this a while has got one of these. It's like the Fender Stratocaster, if you know what that is. It's the stock standard guitar that people use when they start playing guitar. Most people that I know have a Fender Strat and a Marshall amp, right? And the Roadcaster is that. It's the stock standard, out-of-the-box gadget that works every time. Because what we're doing, this is a very good example of why you would pay for stuff. What we're doing here with Restream, which does cost me money, is very clunky. And it's, quite frankly, very difficult to do. But imagine if you had a gadget that works every time. That's worth paying $300 for. I mean, I want one of these. I'm going to ask my wife if I can have one for Christmas. But, you know, I want one because of the promise of the reliability. Yeah, if you can get it working. It's a tank. It's solid. I'd be very surprised if you have any trouble with it. And I can't wait to see you hook it up and try all the gadgets. And as Jason said, he's got one of these. He's been doing a show every day for 5 years. 100,000 followers on Instagram. He's rocking it. He knows what he's talking about. So I can't wait to hear what happens there. Are you there, Stefan? Did you get something going for us, or you want to come back in and add your thumbnail and have fun?
Yeah. Actually, I'm trying to because I have some headphones that don't seem like they're working anymore. Maybe the battery ran out. So yeah, I'll be right back. This is actually very interesting. I am doing podcasting as well, so always looking to improve things. And was right on point. I didn't expect. I'm not sure where everybody's from, but it's good timing. Yeah.
Americo, this is exactly why we do it, isn't it?
This is exactly why we do it. Written content, while it has its place when it's repurposed and redistributed, if this had just been a post, we may never have had the opportunity to meet Stefan. He may have gotten, at best, a thumb emoji or maybe a comment, hey, this is cool. And we all know what happens with that. It gets forgotten,
That's true.
and you're focusing on the next piece of content. But this conversation, we're going to take the transcript. We're going to take all the bits and pieces that we believe will drive value, and we're going to hear, or we're going to read Keith's post, which will have his perspective on how things played out today. Keith will share the transcript with me, and I will pick out my moments that I believe resonate with my school community, and they will get value out of it. And we'll share it with the school community, and then I will put together a blog post of my own on Substack. And this is one conversation, and we're going to hear, and we're going to read, and we're going to play back different perspectives of one conversation. And you just can't get that out of short form content, not even video content. Everyone says video content is trending. Sure, but a lot of it is polished, overproduced, and for the most part, I'm past my prime. So dancing around on TikTok is not going to get me what I'm looking for.
Well, let's play out what's happening here. Here's a guy in your time zone, Calgary, up the road relatively. Stefan, introduce yourself. Tell us what you're doing, how you get your content out. What's your favorite format, and let's keep it moving.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll be glad to do that. Yeah, so I've recently kickstarted a podcast. It's called Trust to Traction, where it's a B2B podcast. So somewhat I do agree with what was just said, that I mean it should let things flow a bit more freely and not focus too much on scripting and everything. But then again, like in a B2B setting, things might be slightly different at times, because you don't want to be too much entertainment. You don't want to have too much of that. So but overall, I guess we're more interested in tools, and what we're using overall is that what I'm getting from?
I want to pick up on this, Stefan. This is actually very, very cool. So
yeah,
we can have two very distinct conversations: live streaming versus podcasting. And I actually acknowledge exactly what you've said. I've got friends of mine who work in the very high-end executive coaching space. They do not want to stuff around and have fun. They want to share the knowledge that will get them clients. Right?
That's right.
They're not here for fun, and they're here to talk about things that are very highly segmented into the executive space. I get it. I've got friends of mine that refuse to go live because they just don't want to look stupid. I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah. There's always that risk factor that you don't want to come across as a risk, because then your target audience and the people you're aiming at, they might not be inclined to be a guest, right? If you are focused too much on entertainment, because there's already many like it's not exactly what they might be looking for. So yeah, it's you kind of got that. That's what I'm trying to say in that aspect. But in the end, it's still a podcast, and I do have some other people there, they're doing this live, like unscripted. Actually, it's exactly the name of the podcast. It's called Unscripted, right? So
Yeah.
we do have that as well. I mean, I'm not as advanced though, like to be able to take that step yet. So yeah.
But why don't we talk about what tech you use? Americo uses the Rodecaster. He can say that now, even though it's only 1 day old. What do you use to do your podcast? What tech do you use? Do you have a good mic, a mixer, or do you use Riverside, or what are you using?
Well, like I said, I just started about a month ago, so I thought I didn't put too much thought into sounded too professional because I first wanted to get things in place. So I do have kind of basic equipment at this point, which is frustrating at times because it's basic, right? So the sound could use some, right? I'm actually editing things also. Like I'm using DaVinci Resolve, and I'm like editing after production, right? So and that could definitely use better quality videos and even sound, right? Like I'm not sure if you're familiar with the with this editing software. Yeah, so it's very professional. So in a way, there's room to have professional equipment for this. Well, I mostly record online conversations, so I didn't really get to that stage. So I'm aiming to that eventually when I get to have my own, let's say, mini studio and have guests in person. But for the
Let's pick up
moment, I
on.
was a little bit reluctant to overinvest
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this.
Is it on
Yeah.
camera? Is it a podcast or is it a video podcast?
It's a video podcast. Well, I'm also extracting the audio and turning it into a podcast as well, like audio only. But I'm using the usual ACC format and right, like the codec for that. That's most popular, which is also, let's say, Spotify friendly, YouTube friendly, right? And so I'm pretty much in a very beginning. It's been almost a month since I started this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
I
might
can't
not
wait to
sound as
hear it.
professional as everyone else.
What
It
is the
sounds like
topic?
you guys have some really cool tools over here.
What's the topic?
Yeah.
What do you talk about?
Yeah, so it's thank you for asking. It's actually and I hope I get to know everyone also here because I'm not sure exactly what everyone is doing. It's a B2B podcast. It's called Trust to Traction, and it's basically around this topic of building trust with a focus on fintech and Web3, crypto, and it's around that spectrum because it's aimed more at the founders, investors, and other professionals that are active
I
in
love
this
this. I
field.
love this.
Yeah.
This is good. So
Yeah, some of my is exciting for some
no,
of
it's
us.
very
Yeah.
important that you find your lane. Pick up on this, Americo. Fintech, crypto, not our field.
Not our field.
But if you're very, very passionate about this, there will be a market for it. And what I'm really fascinated by is that you're starting with a video on podcast online. This is very, very specific because there's so many variations. For me, because I've been doing this since 2008, the word podcast means podcast, audio only, casting on your iPod, right? But Joe Rogan in 1999 or something like that, some ridiculous number, 2009, he created a podcast with video on, and people then now in the 2020s are saying the word podcast means video on, right? So I have to ask because that's not what it means. But I'm the old guy in the room. When I started in 2008, podcasts were a thing. And they were audio only. Right. But you're doing a video. This is great. Let's just clarify this. You're doing a camera on podcast online. The reason why I say that is because this field is so vast. What a lot of people do, is they get a mixer and they interview two people in a room. This is a totally different story. This is what most modern podcasts do now.
That's
Um,
right.
And that's why America has, this is a very good segue. America has a roadcaster because that
Exactly.
means he can interview 4 people in a room and everyone gets a mic. That's why we buy this tech. Right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, I
you
love
may
that.
get there eventually. But what you're doing now is you're doing a video on podcast online. So people call in on their laptop, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm using it's something very simple. Right. I did check my options though, so it's good that we're bringing the subject. I'm actually open for suggestion as well, as always looking to improve. But yeah, I had a choice. So when considering online streaming, the choices came down to 2 choices, which was either Riverside, which is very popular among quote unquote podcasters right now. I don't know how to say it anymore now I have to should I keep saying podcasting, or is it like a more specific word?
Video podcasting.
Video podcasting, yes, to be more specific. So many online video podcasters, they use that I know of, right? And I've been advised to use this as well, was Restream. Sorry, not Restream. Restream is what we're using now. Riverside. Riverside for several reasons. One of which was that it was easy to use for people that are not very techies, right? So, and another reason I was given was that it's easy to edit with your podcast. So, which was very interesting. But in the end, I chose something else. I chose Zoom for the moment, and the reason why I like that is because it's very easy to save the video files on your computer and edit them yourself, and try to give it a more personalized touch compared to certain platforms that are already there. And by the way, since I did mention Restream because we're using it now. I did use it in the past, and I liked about it, as a side note here, that you can stream on so many platforms. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, for my needs at this moment, someone just kickstarting in the first few weeks, I thought this should be enough to start with, and I rather had it start. Yeah,
we all start there. Like we all start with Zoom, and that in itself, this is exactly why I do this show, Stefan. I do this show because people at all levels, and people, I'm very excited about this. People call in from all over the world. We just had someone calling in from LA. And what is your accent? I'm trying to pick your accent.
Yeah, it's exciting talking about it. Well, my accent is that I'm in between 2 cities, right? So I'm a little bit in Calgary at times, and I'm also in Montreal. So if you know, Montreal is a French area of Canada, right? So I also speak French, but my podcast is mainly in English. It's for English audience at this point. Yeah.
We have a very good.
Well, thank you for asking.
No, it's very important to me that we play the global story. I live in Australia. I live in Melbourne, Australia, and I could just do a podcast with Australians, but I actually love. What gets me really going is this idea that you're calling in from Calgary, but you're actually from Montreal. My friend calling in from Chile is from Austin. My friend Americo is from Toronto. So, we have so many vast stories to tell. And what you just said there, let's pick up on this. This is a very, very, very good piece of tech for beginners. Zoom is an extraordinary beginning idea. It's cost effective. It's got lots of cool tools. And it's a very, very good place to start. You can afford it. It does everything well.
I find it easy to coordinate, especially when, like you said, I may have guests from different time zones, right? So this they do have an option where you can easily see the time zones, and the guests can directly schedule a spot on their own time zone, which will translate. So I find it's pretty efficient. Yes, I agree with what you said. It's for a starting thing, because I had a choice to either start with this and start with very basic equipment, or don't start at all and keep waiting until. But the words needed to come out, and I had a lot to say, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that's going on. So I said, no, I'm just going to start this, and
Done is better
let's
than
go.
perfect. Done is better than perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have some thoughts on this? Let's pick up on this. This is a live conversation. Let's pick up on this. Zoom
pretty cool.
versus
Yeah.
Riverside. Have you got some thoughts on that, Americo? Have you tried either or both?
I have the capacity and the capability to push Zoom through Restream, but I just can't bring myself to doing it because and this is just me getting inside my own head, that Zoom is a meeting platform. And right now I'm working with my audio files that I can strip from Restream, and that's working for me. I totally get the ability to schedule and all the lovely filters that we could use to make ourselves look aesthetically pleasing on camera with Zoom. And there's nothing suggesting that I've ruled it out completely. But to answer your question, I have not used it for a live stream. I do use it for meetings, but the two worlds have not come together in the live streaming space, at least
And Riverside,
in my studio.
have you heard about it?
I've heard of Riverside. I have not used Riverside.
Yeah, Riverside is like a very advanced version of. It's actually quite an advanced version. It's probably even better than Restream. But the reason I don't use it, and I know a lot about it, the reason I don't use it is that they don't allow thumbnails. So Restream is the only format that allows me to do this audio only thumbnail cartoon style, which is my style. Right? And I got that from doing Twitter Spaces and LinkedIn audio events. And so I've become used to this style of presentation. And I'm not a camera on person. Like, that's my style. So Riverside is very good, high quality sound, very high quality video, a lot more expensive than Zoom, but you get what you pay for. And I asked them specifically whether they'd consider adding a thumbnail feature, and they won't. So what happens is everyone just looks like a letter, which is stupid. Or you can go on camera, of course. So this is good. This is a good discussion to have. And Stefan is recording in advance. He's not doing, oh, there we go. You're adding a different, that's good. He's got the thumbnail. I love that.
Yes, I'm back. Happy to see everyone also. Thank you.
Stefan, we are connected on LinkedIn, and I know you're just starting off.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing this intentionally, because Keith and I both have strong opinions of pitch slapping. But if you want to come over to my school community, you can get in right now for $5 annual subscription, and you're coming in at the ground level. There's other people. There's 100.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Send it to me. I'm actually I'm here to learn, because you obviously cannot find people that it's not easy to find someone that actually can give you very good advice. And I'm not saying like I'm expecting 100% like everything what works for you works for me, but yes, some people just kind of say what works for them, but doesn't necessarily apply. So I'm always happy to connect with professionals that can give me a different perspective. So yeah, send me any link you might have. I'm very interested.
Alrighty.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think we've just in a way pointed out why we love live streaming so much. Personally, I've been podcasting since 2008, and I love the idea that someone from Calgary who lives in Montreal can call in to Australia and talk to someone who's living in Toronto. I mean, I just love that idea that we are one sort of big family, and that if we really sort of play that game, we could really do anything. And I didn't know you before today. We've never chatted. We've never chatted before, and so the live streaming idea, if you're courageous, and that's the right word, if you're courageous enough to battle through the tech, you can actually meet some very, very, very cool people, and they're real because you're talking to them. We've had some enormous tech challenges today, and you heard them play out like we're doing it, and we solved it, and then you've got confidence that, hey, this Keith guy, he knows what he's talking about. He's a bit of a dude. I like him. You get a chance to feel it, don't you? Rather than read it. And podcasting is sort of like a middle ground. Like people, they listen to podcasts while they're walking the dog or they drive in the car. And as I said, I've been doing this since 2008. A lot of people do it. Like about 15, 20% of people love podcasting, love podcasts just for reading. I don't, but a lot of people do. What about you, Americo? Yeah. Do you still listen to podcasts, or is live streaming more your thing now?
Live streaming and the replays. I will go back and listen to a replay just to see what I might be missing and what other creators are doing. Here's a perfect example. We talked about reviving and retooling and showing up. We all have gone onto this tremendous bandwagon, creating these lovely AI cinematic intro videos, some of which go on for 10, 15 minutes. I've witnessed. And it almost appears that the creator is more interested in putting together the cinematic intro than they are about talking about whatever subject matter. And yes, that might captivate those who show up live, but from my replay perspective, you're going to lose your dwell time. Someone sees that thumbnail, you've piqued their interest. Now they got to fast forward through however many minutes of intro music. Like I've tried to keep it, I've gone as high as 3 minutes, try to keep it at 45 seconds to a minute so that all the channels that I'm pairing up align and sync. But now I'm going back and editing them on YouTube and removing the intros so that
can you do that? Can you actually take that? Wow, how do you do that?
So you got to go through YouTube Studio, and YouTube has an editing feature in the studio, and I'll go in and I'll crop out the intro and jump right into, hey, thanks for joining us. Today's guest is, or today's conversation, and you just kick off with the conversation opposed to having people sit through or fast forward and missing the monologue or what have you. So I'm starting to go back in and cleaning those up, removing the white noise that perhaps those consuming the replay aren't as interested.
Let's pick up on that. I've never been very big on replays, but do you get good stats from that? Is it worth your time to do it? I mean, there's obviously time involved. Do you get a good hit rate? Do people watch the replays? Do you get people calling you saying, "Hey, I watched the replay. Let's connect." Is it working?
Not yet, because I haven't invested the time, effort, and energy that's required. If you look at the shows that are in my YouTube channel right now, they still carry the title of the show that perhaps may not have been the best choice of title, or the description is what YouTube embeds your first comment that goes onto LinkedIn or whatever you load in the description on Restream, which may have been relevant at the time, but may not be as effective. So now I got to go in, and I'm encouraging everyone that I'm working with, you got to optimize with keywords, and you got to have your description optimized for AEO, because there's a lot of traction. Your YouTube videos have an extreme amount of weight, and they get crawled all the time. When I go in now and I do a periodic test, what is America best known for? My videos are popping up, my Substack articles are popping up, but that's because I'm starting to rewrite the descriptions so that they're optimized for AEO.
So it's discovery, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What's your take on that, Stefan? Do you know much about SEO and the idea of being found online? Have you got some thoughts on this?
Well, it's a very interesting, and yeah, some I find everybody has kind of their own different approach on this. Yeah, my approach is mostly optimizing through questions and kind of trying to deduct like what questions will be asked in a way, and that's one of the ways I kind of focus on and have that in the conversation, in the description of the video or the audio wherever it gets posted, and it's been working well for me so far. But yeah, I do go beyond that sometimes. I do optimize for SEO as well, and SEO, geo, AEO, like all the words, the fancy words that came out not long ago. Yeah.
Let's pick up on this. I just want to pick up on the global thing. David made a very, very good comment here. David said, very valid point. Substance and authority is always going to win over window dressing. Totally agree. Now, I Googled David, or found him on LinkedIn. We are connected, or I think I've sent him a connection. He's in London. So
nice.
Calgary, a guy living in Calgary from Montreal is talking to a guy in Australia, talking to a guy in Toronto, and we're being listened to in London. Now that is what I do. Can you believe it? I just love it. Now, he might not be in London right now. He might be in Chile or Austin, Texas. I might be completely reading that wrong. But can you see the point? We're actually reaching a global audience. Don't you love that, America? This is why we do live streaming. This is why we do it. This globalness. It's undeniable. The dopamine's really going off today.
Yeah, that's and that's what we do time and time again. Some shows get different types of traction where we just bring more people on. Others, they're just so deep and so rich, and they find a place that take off on Substack. So never sell yourself short. The message is the same. You want to deliver that seamless experience, and you want people who perhaps are reading the blog version or the article that you're going to write on Substack. You want them to read it as if they were there, and you do such a great job. You get a lot of great traction, even on shows where perhaps we don't have as many attendees, and it doesn't give us the adrenaline that we want or expect live, but we find it in other places. I'm trying to find it in the replays on YouTube. You have definitely found it on Substack. Now, I get asked quite often, and I think it's important that I also share this with our listeners. When you visit my YouTube channel, it is not designed or does not aesthetically look like what many gurus suggest YouTube channels look like. I use it as a tool, as a utility for my community. There is a vast amount of content, and I will use now with one-on-ones with members that I'm working with, those who lack confidence. Hey, let's take a look at a garbage piece of content that I put out a year ago. Why did I put it out? Because I believed in presence over perfection. Why is it still there? Because I want you to feel invigorated and feel comfortable and confident that, hey, it's okay. It's going to be clunky. And waiting for it to be perfect, I can assure you, if you wait a year from now, it will still be clunky. But you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
We got lots and lots and lots of comments. I do apologize that the show did not stick on Substack. Stefan, do you use Substack? Have you come across it? Do you know what we're talking about there? Have you heard of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think because I'm a marketer, I do focus on Web3 is where most of my expertise is. But yes, Web2 is unavoidable. It's still even Web3, you still have to know Web2 marketing. So yeah, Substack it's a important tool, I would say, for many reasons. I would say equivalent of this. I'm not sure any listener might be interested in this, but there is a Web3 equivalent of this, which is called Paragraph, and my word to checking it out. And but it's different platforms, different results, right? So one is more Web3 focused. But yeah, it's and just earlier what was said about the YouTube channel, and I hope I can get a link to it as well. As I am curious about that. But yeah, as starting my YouTube channel, I also had many voices and people tell me, why are you doing this? It's boring. Maybe you should add this, make it more entertaining. But then again, that's not what I'm making it for, right? It's like you said, you're making it. America was saying is making it for his community, right? So you don't need to be too fancy or have extra things that normally you wouldn't put. And I do believe that in the end, it's part of optimization as well, right? Because it wouldn't bring any value to it at all into community either. Yeah, so
It's
yeah,
very
that's very
fascinating.
interesting.
Why don't we slightly morph into SEO, AEO, and GEO? I'll play a little sound. And you're listening to KKFM, Keith Keller in Melbourne, Australia. And what we're doing now is we're going to talk about SEO. Now, everyone's heard of SEO, but have you heard of AEO and GEO? And what does it even mean? So, SEO, search engine optimization, Google search, probably 20 years old now. AEO is answer optimized, answer engine optimization, and G is generative engine optimization. Very different. What you said, Stefan, really fascinated me. What you're doing is you're optimizing your content for the questions. This is very, very, very important. People don't search for things, they want answers. Where is the nearest Indian restaurant near my house? What is the capital of Uruguay? How do I get better fuel economy on my car? Right? They ask questions. AEO, answer optimized engine optimization. You answer the question. It's very difficult to do. I still haven't got my head around it. Is this what you're talking about, Stefan? How you answer questions that people are asking? Is that how you do it?
That's a very yeah, that's pretty accurate on what you said. And well, it's not something new in a way. It's not a very new concept, right? Because people who are familiar with SEO are familiar with long tail keywords as well. And I don't really want to say they're exactly the same, but I find that the same concept was already there, except that we didn't really think of it as optimized like in that way for AI and for indexing in that way. So yeah, my approach is usually just have the question and as elaborate as possible when possible, but also include the answer in several wherever possible, or include parts of the answers. And yeah, I should do a lot of work around that, and not just
It's very interesting you say this. You
yeah.
might actually be quite fascinated by this. A friend of mine in Brazil has a really cool site that judges SEO for the internet, like for AI. And
Beautiful.
every time, I'm going to send this to you. Every time I do a search on my articles, it says, if you could add a frequently asked questions section, your SEO would skyrocket just there. Can you turn this article into a frequently asked questions format. He might not be able to, it doesn't always fit. But when I write an article, I try to put at the bottom of the article, here's 10 questions that I often get asked on the show. And here are the answers. Right? They love that because that's what people are looking for. What's the difference between Zoom and Riverside? Is it worth the money? Should I do it? What is a video podcast? And why did this guy keep going on about 2008? Right. So people ask questions in real life. We're actually talking to people, right? That's why AI is so sort of anonymous. Like people, as America has said, we make these videos that look glorious, but no one's interested in that. People want to know, what is the difference between Zoom and Riverside? Why should I live stream? Why don't I just do a podcast? What website provider should I use? What is a roadcaster, and should I get one? What mic should I buy? What's the best type of petrol to put in my car? They have questions in the real world. And if we can actually tap into that, that's exactly what AEO is. We're not just sprouting on our opinion. We're answering questions, solving problems. It's very cool if you get your head around it, isn't it?
Yeah, and I wish I just would add something on this, because yes, it's answer engine optimized, but it also brings some sort of utility for the reader. Let's say, especially if it's a blog entry, it will save time, right? Because we do have so much information these days. So when you're looking for something and you stumble across a blog that interests you and answers your question, something that it would save time, and I think many people would appreciate, is to add some of the frequently asked questions at the very beginning, or at least have like a quick not at the end, no, because, or at least have like a quick summary. I mean, if you don't want to call it like frequently asked questions, but people might land on the blog and maybe they want to see that right away. And that will save them time. If they're interested, they will read the rest of the blog, obviously, from what I've seen in my experience. But having something that can be a quick summary or some shorter, brief, frequently asked question kind of thing, you would actually optimize for the reader as well, not just for the engine optimization here.
It's optimized for the person. This is an extremely interesting topic. Do you have some thoughts on this, Americo? You do a lot of articles. Do you sometimes struggle to find a rationale for putting frequently asked questions, and even though it's sort of required?
Do I have a hard time? Not so much today as I did when Richard first came out with Savannah Bee. And the only reason is because I wasn't formatting my conversations in that, or I wasn't writing my long form content. But once you understand the why we're doing it, because as you touched on moments ago, this is how people search for information. It's in the form of a question. And I now include it wherever I can to the best of my ability. But if it doesn't make sense, I'll knowingly and purposely leave it out because it may not fit into the long form article. But I will take those questions and maybe find a place for them elsewhere. It could be in a Substack note, it could be in a short form piece of content on LinkedIn. I will insert them somewhere.
Have you heard of this? I've never heard of this. It's the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. Have you heard of this, Stefan? I've never heard of this phrase. I've never heard. I understand it now that I've heard it, but have you ever heard of this?
It's something like I would like to know more about, but what I associate this with usually is with more the user's ability to use the page, and is that what I'm getting, or I'm just to
on David and tell us about this? It's probably very late there. You probably can't. But
Yeah,
I've
we'd
never
love to
heard of
know
this.
more about it.
I've never heard of this. Have you heard of this, America?
I have not. No.
Now, again, we've just proved our own point. David's in London. It's probably 2 a.m. He is writing comments on LinkedIn. We're putting them on Restream and sending them to YouTube. Like, just hear those words. A
Nice.
guy in London is talking to a guy in Australia via LinkedIn, and we're sending the file to YouTube. This is
Hello,
the world
David.
we live in. This is the world we live in. So apparently, and I'll have to research this because I honestly have never heard of this, web accessibility guide, web content accessibility guidelines. So the ease of use to read the article at various stages of physical and mental capacity, I guess. A little bit like the Fleisch scale, where you're trying to write an article for a 9-year-old. You've probably got to make content that's accessible for a wide range of people, maybe with a hearing loss or with vision impairment or, I don't know, slow internet. Please tell me more about this. I've never heard of this, David, and I'm hearing this for the first time. And this is exactly why we do this show, because we learn far more than we can teach, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's it's a matter of obviously every website and blog entry, and there's always this matter of accessibility as well, right? Like just like with physical things and physical spaces, right? Like everybody has different needs, and depending what the community you're running, it might actually be
I wonder
something
if there's a
important to
website
consider.
that can judge it. In the same, and I'll mention this, David. We've been talking about a site called Savannah Bay, which is run by a friend of mine in Brazil. And what it does is it takes your blog content and your website and converts it into a score out of 100 to give you an understanding of how the site and the blog would be read by people who don't yet know you, who are looking for this answer. It's a very useful site. It's called Savannah Bay. I wonder whether a site like this exists for accessibility. Okay, here's the article. We give you a score out of 100, and here's how you can improve. I don't even know how I could improve. I've never even thought of this, and I'm embarrassed about that. Savannah Bay is an AI SEO friendly checker. I'll send you a link to this, David, if you want. And I've sent you a link to it, Stefan. And I use this every day.
Thank you.
Every single day I check this, and I often get 80 or 100 out of 100 because I'm doing it every day. But when I first started, I was getting like 45 because I didn't know what I didn't know. Wouldn't it be great if we could have a WCAG calculator, a WCAG? I'd be very interested to know about this, David. If you probably can't come because it must be like 2 a.m. in London, unless you're not in London. And if you're in Chile, I've got a good friend there if you want to hang out with him. So he's probably somewhere else. But I don't know because we're not connected and he can't DM me. But I'm not really quite sure where to go here because I've never heard of this. And no one on the call knows anything about it. So we might just have to let it sit there for a minute. Let's just let it sit and come back to it. David says that it's quite similar to the frequently asked questions idea. Having some knowledge base on your website is useful. So I don't know where to go with that. How do you approach your articles, America? Let's pick up on that because do you write them after the live event or do you do them before the live event?
So I will follow two flows. If I have a guest, I will do some research on my guest and get a good understanding of what they're best known for, their work, their accolades, and their accomplishments, so that I have a good understanding of what questions to ask. My goal is always to make my guest feel comfortable, where we can have a conversation and I don't have to load up the questions in advance. I want it to feel natural and not mechanical. So there's a little bit of research that goes in before the show. I then take the transcript because I no longer need to take notes or go off of memory. And I'll ask my AI agent using the context, and it's very important that you ask your agent or your AI tool that you're using to keep what you're looking for within the context of that conversation. Otherwise, it's going to take the context of your conversation and other general information around that same subject matter from the web,
Yeah,
right?
cool.
So, and that's how I get it to write it or offer an improved version in my, not only in my brand voice, but to keep it in context. And I'll break it down. What were the trending topics? What were the key takeaways? Recommend and provide a timestamp on moments that would do really well in the video clip. And it just gives me a list of things to piece together. It'll give me the trending topics. I will ask for, some Q&A. If there was Q&A in this conversation, can you extract the questions that were asked?
Oh, wow.
Right? And it does
Wow.
that for me. So
In the transcript.
in the transcript, the question is, and what people don't realize, and I know there's this whole conversation and difference of opinions on using AI tools for writing. And some would even say, the prompting is as much work as the writing itself. The time that I take to put the prompt
harder.
together, I probably could have written my first draft of the article, but it's how we do things now. Right?
Yeah. Look, prompting is much harder than writing. It's so much harder. But what's your take on AI, Stefan? This is a very interesting conversation we've been having in recent times. Gen Z hate it. Boomers probably hate it. I'm a Gen Xer. And I think, well, look, it helps me. It saves me time. I get quality work out faster. Sure, I have to use tools, but I just couldn't do it without AI. And sometimes I still can't do it even with AI. There's so much to do. The show goes 4 hours. We've been already going 2 hours.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, well, you brought a good point, right? So I'm one of those people that I love it, I hate it, I love to hate it. It's kind of in that frame, because in the end, love it or hate it, it's something that is very useful, right? So it depends how we use it. In this context, well, there's obviously many use cases, but yeah, obviously from curating a lot of data or like extracting some key points of a script that of a conversation that already happened, right? Like I said, I also use DaVinci, right? So DaVinci Resolve has an option where you can instantly, well, not instant, might take a few seconds, but you can just get a whole script of the whole conversation right away before posting it anywhere else. So this can gives you a chance to kind of play with it, and you can emphasize or center things. I have some posts done, let's say on LinkedIn, and adapt that conversation or what went around the topic on whatever platform, right? Like some people are present on several platforms. At the moment, I'm mostly LinkedIn and YouTube kind of focused. But yeah, I've seen people that they take the whole script and they just dump it on, just to put it on. Saying it nicely, dumping it maybe doesn't sound as nice, but they just posted some places on Reddit, for example. And does that help with the SEO? Yes, it does. It's practice that some people do. It's the best practice depending on what you need, right? Like it's not something I would do for a B2B type of show, but yeah, it's there's a lot of things to do actually with AI and around certain tools. I wouldn't even know where to start the conversation because there's so many things to say at this chapter. But yeah, overall, it's pretty useful.
It's very important. I wonder if, and I've got a very long description there from David. I'll try and read some of it out. Web content accessibility guidelines are technical standards for making digital content accessible to people with disabilities. That makes a lot of sense. Content must work reliably across diverse assistive technologies. Now, right there, you've loaded up another thing to know. So we were talking before, Stefan, about the people that live stream and then just dump the live stream into a podcast. And as you said, dump the transcript into a blog. Well, that's just bullshit. I mean,
yeah. Well, or like a blog or a Reddit post, and yeah, does it it gets indexed, right? I mean, it does get certain results, but is it the right practice? And not really. like it is bullshit, like you said.
So what you would do, and this is how we're all struggling with this. We do our preferred format. For me, it's a live stream. That's number one. And
That's
in
right.
many ways, that's enough. There's only one of me, right? But I am aware that sometimes people want to read the highlights. So what we do is we take the transcript, I feed it into Copilot, and Copilot gives me a lovely little summary of what was said. I read it and it says, well, actually, that's right. That actually is what was said. They were our words. They've just formatted it nicely. I put it into Substack. That becomes a blog. It's not just dumping the transcript there. Then I might add a few pictures. I might change the wording slightly. I might add a frequently asked questions section at the bottom or hyperlink to a relative article. So in a way, this is what we're doing. We're trying to make the content as accessible as possible. There's only one of me, right?
Yeah.
So
but
I do these live shows, and in order to do this live show, you have to have reasonable quality internet. You have to be able to hear, and you probably have to be able to see reasonably well. So right there, I've disadvantaged several people in the community. If they can't, if you've got sort of hearing loss, you'd probably prefer to read it. Well, there's no sort of subtitles here, so that makes it very hard for people who can't hear. And if you can't see properly, you can't see these little funky buttons we're doing. I get it. So what I do as time allows is I take the transcript and I put it into Copilot, and then I create a blog, and then I create images that support that blog. Right? That's about as much as I can manage on my own. How do you do it, America? I think you've got a better system than me. How do you manage to get it in all these different formats? It's very time consuming, isn't it?
It is time consuming, but I also lean heavily on what Substack already offers in terms of the short clipping. I do a lot of similar activities and break my workflow similar to yourself. I don't think there's a perfect system that anyone could say, hey, follow these 10 steps and it'll work for you. What may work for a handful of shows may not work for others. So it's about being open to and being flexible. That, sometimes trying different things, because as we learn from one another, like for instance today we're sharing Savannah Bay with Stefan, and Stefan's sharing stuff with us.
Thank you.
And as we learn, we might grab ideas and best practices from someone else and try implementing it, and it'll replace an existing process that we have. So that's what I really I gotta add.
It replaces it. This is actually a very good idea.
Yeah.
You'll love this strategy, Stefan. I've never heard this done before. But what Americo does, and I want to sort of segue to prove a point. Americo has this really cool system that when he adds someone on LinkedIn, someone else has got to go. So he's constantly cleaning up as he goes. He's got a round figure number, and someone old goes, someone new comes. And maybe that's a good strategy for tech. You can't just keep building on. Like, I've got to be honest, it scares me a little bit to think I've now got to add this new guideline to my already existing maxed out workflow, just that I've got to meet these guys. It scares the shit out of me, to be honest.
Yeah, well, this raises quite some questions actually, but yeah, this I guess it's a good practice as long as you want to have a active community as well, and you keeping reviewing things, who's there, who's not. But what is really concerning to me when discussing these guidelines is that recently there's a lot of debate online at the moment. It's kind of hot topic that Claude, right? They said they will be adding some watermarks, and I'm not sure if this was already discussed in this podcast, but that's concerning because once you have these watermarks, um, you there's a saying that we might get sanctioned a bit on what concerns the SEO, right? So it will show, okay, this is 100% AI, or like maybe a percentage. This is the watermarks. It's been done with Claude, with ChatGPT, whatever. But the thing is, if you have this case, how will you take content and you put in Copilot or in another AI, and then as you optimize it and put it on other platforms, you kind of spreading the whole kind of problem that on Google that might work against you. So I'm thinking that it will make a little bit things harder to actually stick and keep the guidelines just because
Rest
of the
assured,
propagation problem. Yeah.
rest assured, Stefan, for every new tool, there's one right behind it that's going to cure all ailments. So when AI made its way to center stage and everyone started to embrace it, then the next wave was a wave of people screaming that AI slop was the next trending conversation. So with the trending conversation moving from AI adoption to AI slop, what did we see? We saw platforms like Substack, and we saw platforms like LinkedIn create these buttons and these functionalities to detect AI or to report AI. The metadata has always
Yeah.
been in the background. So
That's
from
right.
a crawling perspective, the metadata has always been there, and you could always tell what was AI and what wasn't. Now, this watermark is the new trending conversation to kind of circumvent or maybe close the complete cycle of what
Yeah.
organizations are doing to combat this AI slop and the noise around it. The next wave, I can assure you, and still speculative thinking, but the next wave is a a tool like Savannah Bay, like others like it, is going to be a tool that's going to turn AI slop into an undetectable piece, right? Or it's going to take your AI slop and you're going to feed it and it's going to humanize it. There's going to be something to combat the next wave of trending
Yeah,
conversations.
there will be, but and I like the way you think, because there will definitely be something that would draw a line what gets sanctioned, what doesn't get sanctioned on SEO at a SEO level. But
Let me pick up
until
on.
then, might be a bit harder for people to earn views or visibility in that aspect until we actually get to draw that line. That's what I'm saying. And as the content propagates with through other platforms, I guess there are other things I think that we can actually rely on,
I,
like
I can
like
tell you what one of
community
those
and
things
other
are.
things. Yeah.
I can tell you what one of those things are. What we're doing
Yeah.
here is exactly what's going to win and set people apart. Because if if they can't get it done in a relative short period of time,
Mhm.
and people start getting throttled, and content starts getting sanctioned, then all we have to do as creators is focus on titles and descriptions, short and snappy descriptions that are AEO friendly, keyword rich and heavy, and let the conversation take care of the rest. Right? People can listen
Yeah,
to
yeah,
these
yeah.
live, people can listen to the replays, and we will be the differentiators. Another reason and another notch that we can put up to hang and celebrate why live streaming is going and continue to be a winning solution and a viable solution for anyone who is trying
Yeah.
to avoid and avert the AI chatter.
Let's pick up on
Yeah,
this.
and that's
thanks,
beautiful.
David. Thanks, David, for connecting. If you want to join and it's not too late, I'm very happy to send you the link. I want to share a little story that happened on the weekend. I'm actually doing my style is that I do a show 4 weeks and then I have a rest and research and then I do another show. So in October, I'm doing a show on gamification. Big topic, really fascinating idea. So I
Nice.
created this concept in Bing. I used Bing to create a graphic that indicated that you can game on all 4 devices now. Your PC, your laptop, your tablet, your phone. Get it? Looks real. Then I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if I could take the chair out? So on my phone, my Samsung S26 Ultra, I've got Gemini, and Gemini took the chair out and did a slight crop of the same image. Still keeps the same quality. But what I noticed, and I cropped this out, but what I noticed was right at the bottom, it says AI generated content with a little Gemini logo.
Oh yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, hang on. All I'm doing is I'm just cropping the video, the photo on my phone. I mean, that's not bad. How's that bad? But it said it, AI generated content. So if I posted this, given that Gemini is a Google product, it would know for sure that I had used AI to make it look better. That is the world we're living in now. And I didn't know this was a discussion. I only found this out on Saturday. But have you had that happen before, Americo, where you've done some work and it comes up with a little watermark, or have you not come to you yet?
Oh, it's I noticed that when I started toying around with the AI generated YouTube shorts. Remember at the beginning of the calendar year, I was playing around with those, and every single one of those has AI generated disclaimer on it.
Yeah, a little watermark. So that's okay. That's good. So
Yeah.
we've got to be able to differentiate, and I think Americo, you are in the box seat here. You cannot fake these live discussions. We cannot fake that a guy in Chile from Austin couldn't get in to a site based in Austin where he lives, but isn't currently living or isn't currently visiting. You can't get away from that. That became a topic for discussion, probably a meme.
Not yet. But we don't know. We don't know in the near future where AI has evolved. But so far, it's authentic.
Yeah. And so I'm prepared to wear the slight embarrassment of Max trying to get in Chile, in spite of the fact that he was in Austin when I chatted to him last, and I missed it. That's a real moment. Like, that's a story we are going to tell for a long time. And there's no way in the world you can get away with that and away from it. And that proves your point. Let's just pick up on this, Stefan. I want to give you a bit of a heads up into what Americo does. He's pretty good at this. We do these shows on Restream, which is very similar to Riverside, and I can have up to 10 people on the call. It's very cool.
Oh, that's
it's
interesting.
extremely cool. But with school, you can have 10,000 people on the call, unlimited. Right. So if you've got a big community and you're really growing, school has this very cool feature where the people who are speak on the top with the graphics, and everyone is underneath them, quite literally like speaking on stage. Do you want to pick up on this, Americo? Because we have an event about this next week, so it's good timing.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I was looking a bit earlier into it. It does look very interesting.
Yeah, we are talking. We are talking school. We are talking audio. We are talking everything live streaming. And the one thing, I'm going to go off topic here, but the one thing we do that I love the most about live streaming is we will set the stage with an agenda. Today's agenda is the social audio sound check. But how often do we talk for 4 hours about social audio? We start with social audio when people come in and they have questions and they want to test their gear. The show starts as intended. But as people come in and the conversations transform and it turns into a masterclass, and we start learning from other members that we may or may not be connected with, that is what school in itself is. It's a community-based platform
Yeah. To go
that
deeper.
brings, that allows what we're doing here to go at a deeper level.
Mm.
And that's awesome because I, like we mentioned earlier, in a world of AI and what's about to come, I think community is something of the essence. And yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that with me, guys. I
Yeah.
appreciate
So he's got a
Yeah.
cool. So we have some. So what I thought I might do now, and I'm very interested in your thoughts on this, Stefan. But we've been going for 2.5 hours. I'm getting a little restless. I just want to move my body, go make a cup of tea. So I actually create songs, like listening to the radio, and just to give everyone a bit of a break, have a shakedown, walk around the block, make a cup of tea, just sort of stretch your body, because I've been sitting in this chair for 3 hours. So I'm going to play a song called If You Can't Tell, You Can't Choose. And I think what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll talk about AI from all of those discussions we're having. Can you tell that stuff is generated from AI? Do you care about it? And if you knew, what would you do? So I'll play this song. Go and have a
Okay.
stretch, make a cup of tea, just move the body. And I think that's a good sort of human thing to do. And then we
Yeah.
can come back and have a chat about it.
I'm looking forward to it, guys. This is very exciting. I'm happy and fun. Let's go.
If you can't tell, then you can't choose. Woke up wired, but I can still dream. Circuits hum under my skin sheen. You say real, but what's it mean? When metal hearts still bleed unseen. You built your gods in glass and code. Now they're the ones who write the code. If you can't tell, you can't choose. Who's the ghost and who's the muse? They're using code to chase the views. If you can't tell, then you can't choose. Flesh and data blur inside. Can you feel me or just confide? Your voice says love, your eyes compute. We upload souls, then hit reboot. Faith and fire, code in veins. Faces lost in mirror change. If you can't tell, you can't choose. Who's the ghost and who's the muse? They're using code to chase the views. If you can't tell, then you can't choose. Maybe freedom's just a file, running hot for a little while. Say my name and I'll say yours. Who's behind whose digital If you can't tell, you can't choose. Who's the ghost and who's the muse? They're using code to chase the views. If you can't tell, then you can't choose. If you can't tell, you can't choose. Who's the ghost and who's the muse? They're using code to chase the views. If you can't tell, then you can't choose.
If you can't tell, you can't choose. So there's two questions I've got now, and that is, one, can you tell that things are done with AI? And two, do you care? Big questions, because there's a lot of calculators now that allow us to do this. First of all, can you tell? And do you care? America, what's your take on this? A lot of these calculators are sort of getting everyone up in arms about it, and they're they're probably quite useful, but can you tell before you look at stuff and see stuff? Can you tell now?
Some of it is blatantly obvious. You can tell because it's overproduced, overpolished from a video perspective. From a written perspective, everyone's going to tell you if there's the M dashes or if you see a lot of emojis, and then it's a good indication that it's AI produced or assisted or facilitated. But if we go through history, and the best example I want to use, actually two industries we can use. We can use the food industry, and we can use modern medicine or medicine. Look at the labels. You watch a commercial that's produced by a pharmaceutical company. Does anybody listen to the side effects and all the fine print that's in the packaging and in the commercials? Food is regulated. You got to have a list of ingredients and the nutritional values. Do people pay attention to that? Maybe not 100% of them do. And I think the same thing is going to happen with the content. Those who are really keen on authentic writing are going to spend time, effort, and an extreme amount of energy trying to call people out for their writing not being in their words. And the majority of people are going to move on with their lives and accept it for what it is, just like with the food packaging and the pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, you've got a real example in the world in the past. First of all, can you tell? And second of all, do you care? Some people do care, even if they can't tell, which is the third question. Even if they can't tell, they just have a moral objection to everything done with AI. A moral objection, hate it. It doesn't even matter. And I'm really interested in your take on this, Stefan. Can you tell that a lot of stuff is done with AI, and do you care? Or is it just, have you just accepted it as part of our normal life now?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, I think many people keep asking themselves that every day now. There are several aspects to it, right? So the song earlier, I can tell is a version of the song that you can tell the voice is robotic a bit. That it sounds like the voice has several voices in one voice, and it's like attuned to follow a certain rhythm. So that kind of stands out to me, and it's something that I would lose interest in right away to hear a song like that. But it depends on the context. I've seen some podcast producers, and I do mean podcasts this time, okay, not video podcasts, that they use several tools. Like they use Suno AI, for example, for their intros, and every time they have a new guest, they ask the guest, what is your favorite music style, and they welcome that guest with a small, like a short intro on, like if it's country music, they're like
yeah, I like that.
yeah, like, so if the guest likes country music, then there will be a short intro about that person in a country music style. If they like heavy metal, there will be right, and so on. So yeah, it's interesting, and I think in that context, yes, who cares? It's AI, it's fun, right? But also when it comes to video, though, and you have a podcast and a video podcast, and you have a host, and that you realize that they're moving their lips and slightly different than the sound, and some that is something that would definitely affect me, and I would lose my interest instantly. I not all the tools are like that, though. Like recently, I had the chance to use a very interesting tool, which is a company from UK. It's a UK based, well, it's not a startup anymore, but it started there. It's called Synthesia IO. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. Their avatars are pretty realistic in certain ways. So I did see people using that as a podcast host and as a video podcast host, which was surprising. But knowing that it's an avatar, maybe it depends. It depends on the person watching and the subject we're talking, right? So yeah, communication wise, it's really, I think it depends on on what is the circumstance and who are we communicating with. And I mean, it's something that could work amazing for communicating to employees and some company, like internally, and just sending a message. But yeah, it's that's where I stand with generative AI. I find it's, in a way, it's a curse, but it's a blessing at the same time, depending how we use it.
That's very interesting. I wonder, the questions that I mostly have are threefold. One is, can we live without it? Can we get things done without it? Probably yes, but it just takes longer. Are we going to be left behind if we don't embrace it? And the third deeper question is, what are the ethical concerns about using AI, even if we can't keep up? Right? So I'm constantly asking those three questions every day. Some people are on the ethics point. Some people are on the keeping up point. Some people are, mate, you're going to get left behind. What do you think? 10 years down the track, you're going to be still doing your stuff on a mixtape? Come on. I mean, I grew up in the area of cassettes, CDs, floppy disks, DVDs, VHS tapes. You know, I'm not going to go. I'm not going back to VHS. There's no way I'm going back to VHS. I'm not going back to cassettes. Come on.
Yeah, might not even find it, or they might be very expensive at this point. I don't know.
Hey, do you remember in the 90s Max Headroom, the the digital avatar? What did we think of that back then?
What a great question. That's a great question. What do we think? I thought it was a bit ridiculous, a bit of a gimmick. I personally didn't like it. That was very early 80s, wasn't it? Sort of a rapper, wasn't he?
1985. I'm just looking it up on Wikipedia.
Wait, so there was an avatar in 1985, guys. I had no idea about that.
Never heard of Max Headroom? Never heard of Max Headroom?
Never heard. No.
Yeah.
Pepsi created a marketing campaign around this persona.
It had a little bit of a it's a bit of a sort of a rap sort of sort of Herbie Hancock, Axel F. What I'm going to do now, mate, I'm going to pick up on this. I've got too many gadgets. You just created a graphic for us. I want you to tell me how you did that. While we're fiddling around with trying to explain Max Headroom to people that probably even weren't alive then. But you created this graphic. How did you do it? And this is exactly what we're talking about. You'll love this, Steph. I'm going to send this to you, Stefan. Look at this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have a look at this. Here's a guy in Toronto talking to a guy in Australia, and a guy calls in from Calgary. Just on
wonderful!
Look at that.
That's amazing.
How did you do that, mate? I'm so in awe of what you're doing here.
So this rendition was created with ChatGPT and used the image creation prompt and asked to regenerate or generate a thumbnail, bringing these three headshots. Let's title it Social Audio Live Stream, and have the pictures, have the headshots scale to fit with each character or with each headshot sitting at a studio table. And this is what it came up with. So I use our headshots from LinkedIn, and this is what it came up with. And now it's now using the language model is using my previous prompts, because I didn't ask to embed school in there, but it's remembering some of what I've created throughout the day or throughout the last few weeks. So now I gotta remember to be specific with my prompts. If I don't want it to be school themed, I gotta say exclude.
But
school.
I do love the mug though. Like I don't mind I don't mind the mugs at all. But yeah, you can even keep me as a drone, like drone character, like as a drawing. I was kind of aiming a little bit for the Aha style. Do you guys remember the music video?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Take on me.
Oh, me, exactly. Yeah. So minus the glasses, but yeah.
That is the same time period, isn't it? Max Headroom and Aha, Take on Me, #1 in the world.
Oh, really?
Not same time period, don't you think, America? Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
Take on Me.
It feels more recent for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because of it's still like pretty much well known the song, but yeah.
Let me just see. Aha, 2.3 million streams. Take on Me. Let me just song. Let's just see when that came out. We'll superimpose it.
1982 they came together.
Okay. No,
Oh, wow.
they're Norwegian. Is that right? Norwegian band? No, I think they're from Norway.
Yeah, they were formed in Oslo.
And Max Headroom. How would you describe Max Headroom, America? What do you think he did? What was his thing? What was he about? 1985. A British cyberpunk TV movie character, Brute, lived in the future. Was he a news host or?
I think he started off as a news host, but then people started to repurpose him, and we started to see music with his avatar. We started to see marketing campaigns, but I believe he originated. I'd have to pull it up again as a newscaster.
Yeah, I think it was. It was. Let me just see if I can find an image of that. It was a guy, sort of just a guy in a suit, very similar to anyone you'd see on the TV, but he had this sort of cyber punk look. Unbelievable, like unbelievable. And I'm just going to see if I can create a version of him on Bing. And look, I can't go back. Like if I was live on the show and I rang my graphic designer and I'm saying, mate, can you send me over a graphic of Max Headroom? Okay, I'll do that tomorrow. Well, I'm live now. Well, I can't do it now. Oh, come on, I'm live. I'm doing something. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm doing something too. And if you can't do it, then I'll have to get someone else to do it. Yeah, well, you might have to get someone else to do it because I'm busy, right? So I can now use a piece of tech to create a Max Headroom lookalike in 2 seconds using Bing. Now, is that wrong? Is that cheating? Or is that just the world we live in? I don't know. I don't know anymore. I mean, I can't go back. Anyway, I can't get a realistic look, but it's a very good point. Max Headroom was a character 84. That's 40 years ago, America. 40 years. I mean, it's obviously been going around for a while.
Yeah. Do you mind do you mind dropping the name in the chat, or I will actually try to look him up as well. It's interesting, and I would love to know how did people perceive that at that time, and how would it what was this change in mentality compared to now, right? Next, okay.
Yeah, Mike's mentioned that we often talk about the ethics of
Fictional
AI.
fiction. Oh yeah.
We often talk about the ethics of AI, and I think the idea of AI probably started with images, and there's a lot of debate about this. Whether it's music, whether it's images, whether it's words. I don't know if you've heard this story, and it's quite a disturbing one, America. I don't know if you've heard this story, that the way that several companies, I won't mention who they are getting their content is they're buying a lot of old books. Have you heard this story? Do you know where I'm going with this?
No.
So they're buying a lot of like out of print books that are like 100 years old, right? Written in, well, English literature. and they're out of print. They don't make them anymore, and they're stripping the shelves of all these old books. They're ripping the covers off, and they're training language models with these books, and then they're putting them in the bin. So the book which existed in real time on a shelf somewhere no longer exists, right? And that's okay if it's one book. In fact, they now have coined this phrase, the Nerd Reich. Hitler burnt books. The nerds are stripping them. And so it is one of my pillars, the ethics of AI. You know, and that's why I'm always constantly worried how, if I don't do it, I mean, I can probably get away with it, but I'll just fall so far behind. Everything is sort of dependent on it now. So I don't want to get too far behind, but also I don't want to just rampantly use everything that's available and destroy the world.
Well, let's go down memory lane and lean into this book example. So I recall during my academic years where, as a student, some of us would try to cheat the system and have all pitch in for one textbook and then scan the pages. Remember when scanners were a big thing? We would all scan the pages of the book. We'd all have a copy of the book, but some of us would have it photocopied because we scanned it, we uploaded it to our computers, and we all had access to what was written, and we only bought one textbook.
Yeah, to make it affordable. Come on, they were like $100.
Then what happened if we go through the transformation in the tech at the time? It wasn't that far along where text-to-speech became something. So you would scan and upload or write or type something and have tech read it back to you. No one was up in arms. Well, maybe they were. We were just naive or just rebels and didn't really care as much as we do today. But there's always been something that has gotten people either in hot water or got people all wound up. But we've all either accepted it and moved on, or not accepted it and still have to move on, because the world isn't going to stop for one person or a group of people who are upset at something.
I agree. In Australia, the law was you could photocopy 5% of any book. That was the law. It was a law. We had a law here, 5%, and it was very, very vigorously adhered to in the libraries. So photocopies were 10 cents, and if you went there with like $5, they're going, well, what are you doing with that? That's 50 pages. What do you need 50 10-cent pieces for? Oh, I'm just photocopying my science assignment. No, you can't do that. You can only take 5% of any given text. Yeah, well, I've got a few different texts. Or show them to me. Okay, I've got to take 10 pages out of my science book. I've got to take 15 pages out of Emily Bronte's whatever she wrote. You know, whatever did she write? Joan Eyre. My wife's going to bash me over the head when she hears that. Here's 16 pages out of Tolkien's The Hobbit, and I'm going to take 14 pages out of my music theory book. Well, okay, I suppose you're technically allowed to do that, just as long as you're not taking 50 pages from one book, because that's illegal in Australia. It was illegal. And it was very vigorously adhered to in the libraries, because they're the ones that had the photocopiers. You can't just go. The Officeworks didn't exist. You didn't have like these shops that had photocopiers. So if you went there now, this young kid working there's not saying, oh, look, you know, you're not allowed to do that. You know, it's against the law to photocopy things. You know, go for it. Here's $5. Just go for it. But at the time was very vigorously debated. But of course, they're so costly, these manuals. No one can afford to buy a journal and then you just chuck them out. There must have been a whole industry in secondhand textbooks. There must have been.
Yeah, and that's why the publishers always had revisions, new versions, new editions. You'd go in and nothing's really changed. Like you'd struggle to find the change or the update in each edition. And when you did find it, it was so irrelevant that you could have made do with a used version of an older edition of a textbook.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of psychology around this. This is actually quite fascinating. Be interested to know what you think. Some people have to have the latest and the greatest, even if there's no difference. They have to be able to say, "Yeah, I've got the latest." Oh no, no, mate, that's last year's model. I'm not having that. That's last year's model. I mean, you dag, come on, can't you afford it? What are you doing? Can't you afford the latest model? There's no difference. Doesn't
Apple built an empire around that model.
What do? You've got an S. Have you had this discussion? You got an S21. Come on, mate. What century are you in? It's 2026. You're living on an S21. How do you do it? Well, I make phone calls, and I check my messages on the train. Still working. Yeah, but you got to have the bigger screen. You got to have the Ultra. You got to have the latest one. You're right. All these tech companies are building all this FOMO, right? Oh, you can't be seen with a 2-year-old phone. Oh, you're so daggy. Oh, man, you're not with it at all. So you're right. There's very little changes and so much extra money to be paid. Yeah. Oh, we can do a whole show on that. Is that? Do you find that too? Do you find that too, Stefan? That there's just such a sort of rampant overconsumption of things that really don't make any difference at all.
Well, it is. Yeah. Actually, do we really need a better model? Like when it comes to phones, do we always need something like the latest tech in podcasting? Maybe not. What we need is whatever works, right, and whatever's reliable in the So there is this thing, but yeah, and what really concerns me the most in this aspect is that things are not built to last, right? So yeah, there's a new model that came out way before the initial model actually broke, and I find that that's something that changed compared to before. I felt like things were built to last longer. And yeah, I mean, if you want to have a film, right? Like, I mean, something to put more context into it. If you want to store some data, right? So you take a photo, you take it digitally, it's on your phone, and you might want to keep it and show it to your grandkids, let's say, or like in 100 years from now. Well, surprise, it's something that we cannot do, right? So because these hard drives, they don't even last that long anymore. I mean, 5 years, 10 years, we're already lucky if they still work, especially if you don't even plug them, right? So do we really need that? I mean, what is the purpose? Like, for example, we have film, right? Like, because back in the day, we take a photo and then you have a film and then you develop that film, right? Like, there was a whole technique behind it, and that would last longer. That would last at least 50 years. So that is something generational, right? But now we have this technology that changes every quarter. How I don't know. Is that actually sustainable? Is it?
Well, it is for the
Where is it
companies
going?
who sell cloud storage, and now there's legacy packages. Like when we all pass on, what happens to our cloud inventory? We can pass that on to our family and create a generational. There's companies that now specialize in creating legacy cloud accounts, so that when we're no longer
Yeah.
here, our family, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren can retrieve those. So it's almost like a digital ancestry cloud warehouse where our images and our memories and our legacy is stored and people can buy it.
Yeah. And but who owns it, right? Because like you said, it's someone's cloud. What if the
Yep.
policy changes? What if it's suddenly I don't know, there's some shifts at the higher level, and then ownership falls into public property, right? Because we do know so far any content and anything that's created, well, I think it's like 80 years after it is considered automatically public property. I think at least in certain countries.
50 years after the death of the creator.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. So to be more exact, 50 years after that. So that's what happens then, even with what's on the cloud. I'm not sure if the laws and regulations around it have taught that far yet, but it's definitely something. There was a case here in actually not here, but there was a case in Montreal, if I remember well, where there was a teacher where it was pre-recording um, his lessons. And I'm not really exactly sure 100% what happened behind the story to give any names and anything. I think you might still find it in some articles online, but just to give it more context, he passed away, and but a couple of years later, if I'm not mistaken, or the year after that, the school was still running his lessons, and surprisingly, students had no idea that he was no longer
Oh, wow.
like alive. Yeah, so it was a big controversy around it, and a lot of voices around. Well, no, yeah. So it's a subject. I mean, we're going into this lack of transparency or lack of regulation, maybe in what's about to come around this. Who owns the data and who owns the whatever it's the legacy, right? So yeah, it's a very good subject to bring. I didn't think I would be entering this topic today, but wow, it's thanks for bringing it up.
I think the idea of ethics is something that I talk about about AI every day. Like it's very foundational with my belief. So if we're going to do things, they have to be done ethically. And this is a very good segue into what David has said. He's obviously still awake. And please join in if you can, but it's probably too late there and there's probably people asleep. But he's in London. There are many good
Yeah.
uses for AI and assistive technology. Like with any technology, it's how you use it and whose hands the information is being utilized. And he mentions that, for instance, the technology has a lot of practical uses and can be maliciously used. I'm just guessing. I'm just paraphrasing this now because I'm trying to read it while I'm talking. While the practical use of AI to describe an image for those who are visually impaired. So this is a very good use of AI and something that Substack does actually very, very well. And if you can talk about this a bit more, David, this would be lovely. Substack calls this, I think, the let me just, what's it called? When you can add a description to an image. It's very good for SEO, but it's also extremely good for visually impaired people. So it's a double whammy. You can actually add an image, but then you can add a description. It's bloody brilliant. Please tell me more about this, David, because what Substack does as it relates to AEO and SEO and GEO is you can just put your blog out with an image, but no one knows what it's about. There's no way for anyone to know. So there's a facility, I think it's called Edit Tags. I'll go in and have a look at this in a minute. You can actually put a description of your image behind the scenes.
It's the alt text. Yeah,
alt text,
exactly.
alt text.
Alt text. Yeah.
So
That's
you can
right.
actually put a description. You can put the name. I'd be very interested to know what the best use of this is, David, because I'm very interested in this. What I typically do, in my ignorance, I guess, is I just put the name of the article. We spoke about this today. This is what it's called. I'm going to put the alt text underneath the image, and it's called this. But I'm guessing you could probably go deeper, and I don't know what the limit of characters is. You could explain that image. Do you want to pick up on this, David? I'd love to hear your thoughts if you're still awake or if you can come in. What's your take on AI and alt tabs? Do you know much about it, Americo? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the alt tabs, people, I wouldn't go to the extent of saying maliciously, but people do use them as hacks as well. So you not only get to describe the image, but you can also embed keywords in there. On LinkedIn, you often see people post and tag other members and embed their names in the alt text field. So you get tagged on a LinkedIn post, and you don't see your name anywhere. But if you hover over the image, there you are with 100 other people who have been tagged to try to see if you can boost the
okay.
post.
Like such
Yeah.
and such mentioned you on Facebook today. I said,
Yeah.
I don't even know that person. How
Yeah.
could she possibly mention me? I don't even
Exactly.
know her. This is what you're talking about. They're just sort of.
Absolutely.
But let's pick up on this. Alt text picks up on what we were talking. This is a very good discussion, because when David mentioned earlier that we've got to now think about the web content accessibility guidelines, that actually made me feel a bit sick, because I'm thinking, oh no, now not another thing to do, right? But if we think about it proactively and say, if we make things more accessible, people who can't access things like we do, like they can't see what we see, or they can't hear what we hear, they get it. That's a great benefit to humanity, and that's a reason to do it. But also, if we can say, look, this actually improves our SEO, then that's a double whammy. More people see it, and more people get to enjoy it. It's a win-win. I'm going to really explore this. I don't know what the limit of alt tabs is in terms of characters, but do you do blogs, Stefan? Do you use alt tabs?
Yeah, I do use that, mostly aimed at the Google SEO related. So, but I would be cautious on overdoing that, right? Because Google, they can see, they can actually index the photo now, compared to before. Maybe the photo was, they weren't able to index that and actually see what the image is about. But now with the AI and the image itself, not necessarily a photo, but it could be indexed. So if you're using, let's say there's a photo of a toaster, but you're talking about um, your own skills, let's say at bread making, and trying to be your top 10 bread maker, and you put that in the alt text, then you might actually get sanctioned from Google search, because they would see as a not a very honest price. But obviously, it's more signal based, right? So it's maybe you do it once, it could be a mistake. But if this is something that happens repeatedly in every post you make, then it's not a practice I would encourage in overdoing. But it sure helps once in a while. Yeah.
Just Googled it. I'm very fascinated by this, because what I currently do is I just simply put the name of the
That's
article.
wonderful.
But here it is. It says that the best practice is usually between 80 and 125 characters. So you could actually, if you think about it from the point of accessibility, not from SEO, and you say, well, okay, how would a person describe this image? And is that useful? And if I can do that within my
Exactly.
workflow,
That is the purpose. Yeah.
everyone wins. What do you think, America? Do you think we should start doing this more?
Should we start doing it more? Yes. What I think some platforms already do is automate some of this, forcing people, like, if we're doing this for humanity, or we're doing this to be compliant with a regulatory body somewhere globally, and we're producing content for a global audience, then there should be guardrails to ensure that we are compliant. YouTube does a great job. When you post something, they will ask you some questions that you got to rule out.
Is this, can we play this to kids?
Yeah, can we play this to kids? Is this a political propaganda?
Yeah.
Is this right? So the platforms themselves have to encourage by creating guardrails so that the creators can adhere and be compliant. Especially if they're trying to attract a global audience, because I might be compliant here in Canada, but may not be compliant in Europe. Like Europe just rolled out this new AI. What's the word I'm looking for? Some AI legislation, and
Yeah.
we got to be mindful of that. We got to, each time we use AI to produce content, we have to disclose to what degree. Now, of course, this is being rolled out to businesses. Businesses have to be compliant, but at some point, everyone's probably going to fall under this legislation, and that'll kind of shift from Europe to other continents, and it'll be a global requirement.
Yeah, I can see that that getting there eventually. That will be something global. But yeah, well,
I'm very excited, David. I'm sending you some details. I'm guessing if you're still listening, it must be just too late for you to comment. Do you look, Americo? Do you have this problem too, where you're sort of talking to the air? Like David is obviously listening, but he's not responding. Do you have this problem too, where people are talking and making comments, but they don't answer you?
It happens, you know. It could be the environment that they're in. I have someone's, and this is hypothetical, but if someone's lying in bed and you don't want to disturb someone that is sleeping next to you, because if my thumbs are going and my phone is moving,
Oh yeah.
right, and the blue light coming from the phone, you know what, I may not be as available to respond or to jump on, because I don't want to wake someone who's in the room with me, or I don't want to disrupt someone who's in the room with me. So it happens, but we got to be mindful that it's not always done with malintent.
No. I get it. What I'm doing now, I'm so into this. I'm so into this idea. I'm aware of alt tabs, and it's another task to do when we create a blog. And I've only ever done it from the one-dimensional SEO point of view. But imagine if we could be a conduit for accessibility, and we suddenly say, and what I'm doing with Copilot is I'm actually asking it, I'm going to use this as an example, why Substack is the perfect platform for the creator economy. It's one of my recent blogs. And what I would have done before today is I would have simply put that in the alt tabs, which does tell me what it's about. But I can go deeper. I can use 80 characters. I wonder what if I Googled that, or if I looked for a description, what it would come up with. How would you do that, Americo? What would you do to write a deeper discussion? What's your agent? How do you do it?
I was about to test it right now with the image I just sent you, the one that's up on the screen, and ask for a recommended alt tag for this image and see what the agent comes back with. And I'm saying this because Stefan just enlightened me with the fact that images are now being crawled and indexed. So curious to see if whether or not an AI tool would recommend, because it's similar technology that's scanning, right?
exactly. Yeah. It's just a different LLM, but yeah, it's might have good.
This is actually fascinating. A friend of ours, I don't know if you know Rachel Barefoot or Bare Redhead. I don't know if you know that name, Americo, but she writes for writers. She's just written an article called "Why Alt Tabs Are a Writer's Best Friend" on Substack for SEO. Like, if someone's thought of this, someone's already got an article about it.
Yeah.
And because for me, this is a very personal discussion, but for me, I can't see the point of writing content if no one reads it. I can't see the point of that. I can't see the point of doing the show if no one turns up. I can't see the point of writing an article if no one's going to read it. What's the point? Unless you enjoy writing it, and you're just doing it for yourself, I can't see the point. So for me, I want to make sure that maximum amount of people read my stuff. see my show. It within the realm of one person in one body, right? So I'm very interested in this. If we can get this working, and I've sent you a link to it, we can do a whole show about this, America. I'm very, very, very interested in this idea.
All right. The results are in. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So the recommended alt tag for the image that we're using, the recommended alt tag, social audio live stream featuring 3 hosts in a professional podcast audio with microphones, school branding, and on-air signage.
Oh, okay. A description of the image. That's what it is. It's a description of the image. Yeah.
A more SEO focused version, social audio live stream with 3 hosts recording a professional podcast in a virtual studio featuring school branding, microphones, and on-air signage.
Yeah.
Can you
see
tell the
that-
difference?
So keywords, right? It's in the keywords.
How did you do that with Claude? What did you use?
So, ChatGPT.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 4 a.m. in London. 4 a.m. in London. David's saying, thanks for sharing, but I'm going to have to get some sleep. But
Oh, yeah.
I'm really interested in this. I'm really, really, really interested in this, David. So I think we've touched on it. Substack does this very, 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 very well. So I'm going to a little bit like what you said, Americo. You said you're going to go over some of your older material and add things that you didn't know. I've got 126 articles on Substack. 126. So I'm going to be a bit busy. But can you just imagine if I added alt tabs to all of those articles and they suddenly jumped up a bit? That's an exciting project. Like, no one's going to know. That's all back office stuff. But I've got 126 articles that are completely underutilized or under maximized. I could spend an hour a day for the rest of my life doing that. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited. I've learnt a new skill. I know exactly where to put it. All we have to do now, it's very interesting that you've done it that way, that you've done it based on the image, because I think I would probably do it based on the article. Here's an article. Can you write a short alt tab for this? And then, because what I want people to read it. Let's pick up on this, America. Do you believe, and I don't mind how you answer this, but do you believe it's important for people to see your content, or are you just happy to do it? Do you love doing it, or do you think it's important to get the word out?
For me, it started with it's important that people engage in real time. And I would get hung up on, people not being present or being present and not engaging. Then I started to realize that there are reasons why people register and can't attend, because they just want to earmark it so that they can attend or consume it when it's best for them. And that's when I started leaning in heavily on the repurposing. And possibly part of the reason why I'm getting questioned, what's the reason and the difference between live streaming and a live meeting? If no one shows up when you're live streaming, what's the point? Well, I'm going down a rabbit hole here trying to answer your question, but these are things that I think about. When no one shows up, that tells me that I've done one of a few things. I either didn't give it enough runway to raise enough awareness. The subject matter just isn't what my community is looking for. Or perhaps there was a tech failure and people just jumped in, they tuned in, and it's like, yeah, I'm out of here. So you're always learning. Even when people aren't showing up, you're always learning. And that's the important thing I want everyone to kind of walk away with, especially people who kind of get in their heads and say, well, what if no one shows up? Well, if no one shows up, you're present. You you continue as if the room was full. You have the conversation because you know you're going to repurpose it. You know that your message carries weight, carries value, and carries authority. You just have to now find a new place for that authority and for that value to be consumed. And that's where the repurposing has found a place in my ecosystem.
It's never wasted. I mean,
No.
today we met Stefan. Stefan is in Calgary, but has history in Montreal. I didn't know that. And we met a new person. We've got a new graphic to show that. We had a chat about max headroom and alt tabs. I learnt things. I learnt about accessibility. The main reason I do this show is to learn things. Like I do things. I do these shows to learn things from others. I don't actually think I'm that clever. I don't actually know very much, but I know a lot more because a lot of people are teaching me things. So I now know about alt tabs. I know now that you'll need to keep them between 50 and 80 characters, maybe 125 a maximum. I know now that all these cool things are happening, and that the Roadcaster now has a call-in feature. I mean, we have to try that. Like, we have got to do a whole show about that. Do you think it'll be up and running by the school show?
That is my intent, is to have it up and running and plugged in.
Yeah.
So what does that do exactly? Like, how does that help? Besides having several speakers, do you mind telling me a little bit more about that tool?
Mm.
Keith, go ahead. You're the tech specialist.
Yeah. So Substack, which is what we're mainly on, we're on Restream. Yeah. We're on Restream now, but we're sending the file to LinkedIn and YouTube, which are pretty boring, pretty standard, what we call late majority sites. They've been around 20 years.
Yeah.
Substack is a relatively new site, but it doesn't do everything. So on Substack, you can only have 3 people on stage. On Restream, you can have 10 people on stage. But what happens if you get really popular? Imagine if AHA did a gig and there was 10 people there. I mean, they wouldn't even cover the flight. Yeah,
absolutely.
So imagine if you're using the musical analogy. If you get really, really good, you want to have a lot of followers. You want to have a lot of people listening to your content. And School and sites like School allow you to sort of corral them into a place and say, hey, this is for you. This is you. You're the fans. You really dig what we're doing. And this is for you. And here's content that's special for you. And here's content that's designed for you. It's not, you know how a lot of generic content, they go, hello to everyone on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, WhatsApp, and everyone listening in from New Zealand. Well, who are you talking to? I mean, are you talking to me? I'm in San Diego. You didn't mention San Diego. You didn't mention Melbourne, Australia. Are you talking to me? So School allows you to get together with a group of people that really get you, like that. You know exactly what you get with School. And Americo's live streaming School is about live streaming. We're not going to talk about cooking or bullshit or Instagram or photos on the train. We're going to talk about live streaming. And so people go to his, and he's got 150 members. People go to that live streaming show to find out that specific topic. It's very targeted, isn't it, America? Is that a good wrap up? I just made that up on the whim.
That's good, because I honestly thought his question was about the Road podcast.
Well, I was actually, it's interesting what you said, so I didn't interrupt. But yeah, I was aiming at that as well, at the tool. Like when I joined the conversation, you guys already discussing that. So that's why I was trying to know, because I kind of missed a part of the discussion. Like, why do you need that, and how does it help you?
All right, when
that's option.
When, not if, when you do podcasts in the real world, like in a room, everyone needs a mic, right?
That's right. Yeah. So you have several speakers, but the thing is, why is that one device? What is the difference between this? Because they all look the same to me.
Bingo. Okay, what's the difference between an Audi and a Holden? Like I'm a Mazda guy. I love Mazdas. I love Mazdas. They're pretty cheap. They get me to the shops. They're pretty reliable. The servicing's okay. They're pretty fuel efficient. They're not very sexy. I don't understand why people buy Audis. They're like $80,000. It's a car, right? But people who have an Audi think, mate, it's good. Seats are comfy. I'd warm my bum. I can actually go on a long drive and I don't get tired. Yeah. Very good stereo, excellent speakers, funky tires, and I love the mags. $80,000, right? The Roadcaster, Roadcaster's like an Audi. You know, it's the top of the tree. It's the top, like it's the top of the top.
Okay, everything is fine tuned.
Yeah, it's absolutely rock solid. And Americo's, this is a second-hand one. This is the original model. The new model, the new model is $1,000. The smaller one's $700, right? But it's absolutely tuned, like it's the best of the best. I can't think of it. Can you think of anything, Americo, that's better than this? I think this is the top of the tree. It's the Ferrari, isn't it?
How does the P8 compare to this?
Don't ask me. We can talk about it if you like. We've got what? It's actually a very good segue. Both of us, Stefan, have what's called a P4. It allows you to have up to 4 guests, and they're $200. Really good for the price. Very good. I'm using one now. Zoom has one where you can have, I think it's actually 6 mics, but 8 channels, right? But it's the same cost. I'm very interested if anyone wants to jump in here. I'd be very surprised if anyone would contradict me. But the Zoom P8, wants to be a Roadcaster. I can say this because I've actually said to Zoom that I want them to sponsor me, and they won't. So I'm just going to say it now. I might have been nicer to them if they sent me one, but the Zoom P8 wants to be a Roadcaster, but it isn't. Mm-hmm. In the same way that a Hyundai wants to be a BMW. You know, I know I've seen these really funky looking Kias in our house, in our town. They look so good. They look like a race car. And then you go, Kia, Korean brand. Not sure I'd buy one of them. But branding, right? You don't know about quality. I'm going to get into trouble.
I think it's reasonable. You have your own opinion and experience on this, right? Because in the end, if you trust the brand already, there's nothing else to say. You get what you need and it's reliable. And I can see. So are you planning to podcast in person as well?
Me not, but
in a room or? Okay.
You want to tell us that story?
Yeah. So last year I decided to open myself to doing some on-site podcasts. So understanding that many people struggle with finding time to show up to a studio to record. It's like, hey, what if I came out to you? Come out with my mics, come out with the setup. I got the Zoom P4. It's portable. It's versatile. It allows me to not have to lug all this heavy equipment. I'll come out.
Cool is that?
And I wanted, the intention was to test it out on a road trip. So I had this whole campaign figured out. We're doing this road trip. We're driving from Toronto to Florida. And we're going to make road stops. We're going to stop in restaurants. We're going to stop in hotels, and we're going to interview people and just have conversations. Nothing polished. It's just a narrative and recorded conversations of my trip that I could then come back, edit, and demonstrate the power of podcasting. Well, as luck would have it, the United States has this lovely administration that denied me entry into the U.S. and I couldn't drive to Florida. So I decided, all right, this isn't going to stop me from this road trip idea. I opened this opportunity to a 1 hour radius. I will go to small businesses within a 1 hour radius. I'll come out and test this out. No one's taken me up on the offer, so
How
I
far
either
is
got
Montreal? How far is Montreal?
Montreal is about 5.5 hours from.
Ah, okay.
Right?
Oops.
So you're in Toronto, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I'm in Toronto.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, if I might have passed by there, I will definitely send you a message.
All right.
I might. Yeah.
Now, I do have, and if he's listening to this live or listening on the replay, I know that
Cool.
Julian and I are intend on getting together, and it's going to happen. It's just I haven't found a window of time where I can say, all right, I'm available between this day and this day. So, but that's going to happen.
Let's pick up on the Zoom P4 versus the Roadcaster. Like, it is chalk and cheese. It's the Audi versus the Toyota. You've got the P4 already. Why isn't this enough? What was the inspiration for going higher? I really want to hear this for the people that think they might buy one. We know, but they don't know.
So some of it is FOMO. I hear all this talk and this rave about how elite this product is compared to the others. The other part is, okay, FOMO got a part of it, but so did price point. The timing is wonderful. Would I have gone out this weekend and spent $1,000 on a Pro 2? Probably not. Would I have spent $500 or $600 on the Roadcaster Pro? Probably not. But when the deal was looking me in the face, still in the box, used once, and then put back in the box, it was on Facebook Marketplace. It was there
resist, could you? You couldn't.
It was there for 18 weeks. Like no one's jumping on this. It's like I have to at least reach out and see, because they had just dropped the price from $550 to $450, and I said, no, there's no harm in trying. I did some research. I reached out to you. It's like, hey, here's this thing on Facebook Marketplace. All indications suggest that it's within that 250 to 400 range. I'm going to try 300, and if they take it, they take it. And if they don't, then I will be just as content with my P4 till now. So a lot of it was timing. I stumbled upon a great deal. And now I have versatility where I don't have to worry about packing this up.
Yeah.
And then on my next live, having to hook up the
Unpack
P4
it.
and unpack it. Right. So now I can have a kit for the road and a kit to stay at home in studio.
I love this. We are next week, and this is picking up on the original idea. Next week, we are doing a school special edition for his school community, and I'm very proud that we're doing that for them. And what we're going to do on that show is I'm going to demonstrate the P4 versus the P2. There's so many gadgets. There's so many gadgets, Stefan. If I had like limitless, I've got a whole room full of these. I've got so many. So I've got the P4 and the P2. They're very different. And they even look different. But they are extremely different in their use cases. So we're going to demonstrate the difference between the P4 and the P2. The P4 is $200. The P2 is $100. Is it better? Is it easier? Is it worth it? So I'm going to demonstrate that. What we're now going to do is, I'd imagine America is going to demonstrate the P4 versus the Roadcaster. I mean, I can't wait to be part of that discussion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yeah, actually, yeah.
And the deeper discussion, this is the thing that's very exciting. I've got a cheap knockoff product. I mean, have a look at it. It looks exactly the same. It's just a complete ripoff. So this is the Mayono version, $250, includes auto-tune and several really cool effects. This is the Roadcaster, which $300 secondhand, $1,000 brand new. You know, it's just a complete knockoff. And I bought one. I got sucked into buying one, but it cost me $250. This is the original. This one here costs $700. Right? I just can't justify that price.
Mm.
So what we can do, Americo, is we can do a direct comparison between the Mayono AM100, that's the model number, cost me $250, cheap Chinese knockoff, and then we'll compare it to the original, which is clearly where the inspiration came from, and there's no denying that. Look at that. It looks exactly the same. So we're gonna do that comparison. Now, this is what we do for our community, isn't it? This is what
Yes.
the community gets by being part of it.
Yeah,
mean-
and that's wonderful to see that. Yeah, actually, just you guys talking about this, I would have a ton of question about this as well, because this is just one part, right? But I would really love to get into talking mics with you guys someday.
Oh.
I'm not sure it's already discussed or it's something, because I know there's not a lot of time left. But yeah, I mean, there's so many questions.
Do you have
So
any?
I'm so
do you have
happy
one-
I discovered you guys. Yeah.
Do you have one currently?
Yeah. I'm using, like I said, I'm using kind of like a startup kit. It's something I got off Amazon. But yeah, there was a lot of considering to do even before that, right? Do I need a condenser mic or is it a regular mic? Do I need which cable? And it's so many things to consider actually. It's
Let's pick
yeah.
this up. We can keep it going now, but why don't we pick this up next week?
Yeah, we'd love to.
I'll just get Americo to explain. This is a miracle. Like when you see what miracle, I can't even do this. I'm so impressed by what's going on here. School is a very wonderful site, but in order to take part, you have to have a school account and you have to be a member of the community, right? Which is a double whammy, some
Cool.
friction there, right? A lot of people haven't even heard of it. So why would they set up an account? And then they've got to join Americo's community, right? So there's a lot of friction. So what Americo's doing, this is so clever. What Americo is doing is he actually is creating a YouTube link so that if people want to listen to what we're doing, they can go to YouTube and hear it for free with no questions asked. And then if they decide, you know what, I like this, they can then decide to move to the community and come on stage, right? But-
That's wonderful.
It's very cool because school, and as much as I love it, there's friction. People are going, oh, another site, Keith. Do I have to join another site? I've never heard of this. What is it? What does it do? Why am I doing this? Can't you make it easier? So is that your inspiration?
Yes. Yeah. It's twofold. It's a two-prong story. One, to inspire non-members to experience the direction that the community is going, because this content is going to be exclusive to members only as it grows. But I want to be able to continue to promote and drive traffic to it, because if I create this walled garden and have no way of bringing people in, then it's all for naught. So I want people to experience it once they get. We're going to do this for the first time, where if you show up and you're part of the live conversation, you got that free conversation, that free resource. But after the live is over, that replay won't be available on YouTube unless you're a community member. I will tuck it away, make it unlisted, and only people with the link in my classroom will be able to retrieve the replay.
Because you've got to give members a reason to be part of it. Like
Yeah.
and I get this totally. If everything that we ever do is free forever, then why would they go up to the next level? Why would they even bother? Like you've said this many times, anything that we know is already available on YouTube for free because someone else has done it already. What they haven't done is they haven't made it super simple for people at our level. People have, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos about how to use the Zoom P4. But how many shows have you ever been to when you can ask about it? Oh, Keith, what does this button do? Oh, well, we never thought of that. Come to the show. So our shows are designed to allow people to ask questions. They're inclusive, aren't they? That's what I love about them.
Yeah, they're inclusive, but they also capture people at different stages. And for some, they join because they're overwhelmed with tech and they'll have questions that are specific to tech. Others are joining and haven't even thought of tech. They're just at a place where they don't have the confidence to hit that go live button and they want help building their confidence. So they come into the community, they participate in a safe environment. They're sharing my stage. They get to practice their public speaking. They get to go back and listen to their replays, and they'll reach out to me. They'll have questions. Hey, like earlier today, I had a wonderful conversation with a community member who couldn't envision. It's like, I want to go live, but I don't think that my community or what I have to share will draw people. It's like, well, here's some ideas. Just give me, I know nothing about your community. Just give me a 1-line description and I will transform that into a handful of different options and angles and approaches that you can take. And she was blown away. Like, oh my God, you helped shine some light on things that were right in front of me that I just couldn't see. And I had invited her to join us today if she was available, and I was, and maybe another time she'll join, because I wanted her to share her story, her aha moment, where people don't realize, and sometimes people don't know what they don't know, and how can you ask a question when you don't know what the question is supposed to be?
There's no context, is there?
There's no context. So I helped her shed some light on what she can do. And she instantly upgraded her membership and went to VIP. And we're going to help her out, build her community and build her confidence. She's got confidence. She's not introverted. She says, I'm not worried about going on camera. I'm not worried about speaking. I was just worried about framing and planning the context and putting something together. It's like, where do I begin? It's like, well, we're going to help you with that.
All right. I'm going to tell you what we'll do. We've been going 4 hours. We might even break a record today. But I've got this little special graphic. Why don't we try and recap, just for 10 minutes, what was said? I'm conscious of the fact that we have been going a long time. Why don't we recap what was said? The key points. Let me see if I can find the graphic. I think I got the graphic.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave now, guys. But I gotta say, just before I get off, that I really appreciate you guys inviting me. I find that I made a discovery, like it's super exciting. It's kind of what I'm doing at the very moment, and I love your take on this as well. That it's not like per se like a webinar kind of a thing, but that you have someone on and also make this available for your community, and even the whole concept of school and what's going on around it is very interesting. And just got to say that I didn't expect this. I found out more than I expected, and I'm grateful for that. And I'll definitely be part. Very high chance I'll be a part of your community as well. So
Bingo.
look forward to see me again, guys.
All right.
Right.
Yeah,
Here's one
I'm
thing.
here to stay.
Here's one thing I want to ask you, and I'm sure Keith was going to ask, but I will ask as well.
All right.
You crossed paths with us. You found value. Now there's one takeaway for you. Go share what you learned and who you met with your community, because you have a decent YouTube following.
Yeah.
You have an even better LinkedIn following we'd love to hear your thoughts and share it if you feel comfortable. Share it with your
Um,
community.
Yeah, I will definitely make a post on this experience, and I do have some people in mind that you guys might enjoy talking with, especially in what AI and other subjects that we kind of touch on today. And yeah, happy to share. Happy to share. It's very helpful, and I love what you guys doing. Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome. So I know it's getting late there. What I'll do, just
Yeah.
give a bit of a wrap up. I do use Suno for a bit of fun. I make these little jingles which just play at the start and the end. So
Yeah.
that's a very good way to wrap up. I'll play the song. You can just slowly disappear from the site. We won't be offended. And I'll
Oh,
play
go
the.
no, that's okay. Go ahead. Yeah. But I'm curious. I do like Suno actually. It's a good tool. It's very fun to use. Yeah.
Have you used it yourself?
Yeah. I did made some parody type of songs,
Yeah,
and
parody is a good
it's
word.
funny.
So
Yeah.
what I do is I make a theme song from the start and the end, and I just play some songs sometimes when I need to just make a cup of tea or answer the door or have a
Mm.
bit of a walk around.
It-
So this is the theme song to this show. Tomorrow we have another show which I'll play tomorrow, but this is the Social Audio sound check. So we'll play that and we'll keep moving.
Awesome.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
the social sound check. Raise your voice and reconnect from every stream. Sounds ignite. We test, we